Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Cinco, how we doing? Cinco.
Great, Tone.
16 or 24, Cinco, where are you?
Let's go 24. Why not?
More than Bri, 16 or 24?
I didn't do any deep analysis of it.
16 or 24, Bri, where are you?
16.
I say 24 just because it'll give the Vols more chance to get in.
I agree with that. I want more teams to have a seat at the table, and then you never know.
I thought you liked tension, Tone.
You never know what. Well, I love a 12. I'd leave it at 12. The 12 creates tension. But if you gave me a choice between the 16 and the 24, if you're going to go to 16, you might as well just go to 24. Because that allows you to play more playoff games in your home site, and it creates more experiences, more opportunity to use the, shall we say, district, and not of Columbia. But baseball team, I've had my heel turn on the baseball team this week. A couple people have commented on it. Brian, did I write in the blog today? I did not. I knew they had, because next week's the Oklahoma game. I knew they had one final home game next week. So are you boys pumped for that, Cinco?
They play Belmont next Tuesday night.
That's it. Yep. And by the way,
and they're done with midweeks.
Taylor did a really nice job today on his twib, and Brian always brings it to the table. And I'm kind of fired up, focused, and prepared. And I got to ask later on today if Pope's on a rope. We got to read some of the comments. Matt Jones has shamed him into doing a public forum over on Twitter where he's answering questions. And I came so close yesterday to jumping in there and jumping in the middle of that with my Kentucky brethren, and I just couldn't do it. Discretion was the better part of valor. I just held on and hung in there, and here we are. Cinco, this baseball team, I basically have proclaimed can't play. Going nowhere in a hurry. Kind of losery. A lot of loser energy around them. People just kind of ripping me, which is cool. But I'm kind of ripping them.
Well, I listened to you yesterday, and your business is communication, and communication words. I know you. I've known you for over 30 years. There's a word called loser. I understand when you said that you were not talking about the individual peoples are losers or they have no value.
No.
Or
they just learned how to lose.
I understand, but that's the way I'm sure most people took
Sean,
that.
they've learned how to lose.
The way I heard you say it is, these kids have gotten good at losing baseball games. I mean, and if you look at their whole thing, you cannot make the counter argument. They lose baseball games. In fact, on Sunday they almost lost that game. So I just wanted to. I don't want to speak for you, but I know you. I've known you forever. You're one of the kindest people I've ever met. There's no way you were inferring those.
No,
kids
I love the
losers.
kids, but the baseball team as a whole, they've had a winning culture for a long, long time. It's the ninth inning against Wright State, and we're going to come up with a key hit. We're going to hit the ball. We're going to put a ball in play. This team has, as Ament's ankle says, they have zero swag about them, and they have zero confidence. And basically, they are a losing organization. Like, if you see them, put this way, we have a narrative here that, hey, you don't want to see us in your region. Of course you want to see us in your region. We couldn't execute our own execution, Sean, at this point. The group that barely won that game Sunday against Kentucky.
Correct.
And when we play these Tuesday night games, hey, full credit, because those kids come out and play. Because a lot of them, that's kind of their level. No offense to them as hitters. So it's their chance to pad their stats. No offense, Taylor. I didn't do it. But it's fun. They're the Tuesday night Vols, man.
Well, it's interesting you say that because the past 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
My buddy who played at UT, right fielder for Delmonico.
Yeah.
And O'Connor before him. We were sitting there and we were looking at the stats of these players, and I said, okay, whatever. And he said, and he turned to me and he said, nobody looks at stats. They only look at, meaning players. He said, we only look at what you did in conference. I said, really? And he goes, yeah, midweek games mean nothing. He said, all I care, and that's why he stuck up for Levi Clark, who was around 180 at that time.
Yeah.
Batting 180, but he pulled up, he said, but look at the SEC, that's what matters. And so he gave no credence. And this is a guy, arguably, who, besides Grinlinger, who hit 300 in SEC play when he was at UT. And so he was like, and it's not one of the, hey, I walked uphill both ways at school. It wasn't old man, I know it better than you. No, it was succinct. Nobody cares about midweek game stats or pre-SEC stats. Show me what you do in the SEC. So You're right. I mean, and another thing, you said zero. We have zero bullpen, and that's crazy to me because I remember listening to Vitello and Elander talk preseason about how they intentionally went away from all the gas and went into different slot angles, different deliveries, different ways the ball, as Elander says, ride and run, all that stuff. I imagine some of those decisions are regrettable right now because we have no bullpen. There is no lead big enough for this bullpen not to get you concerned in the bottom of the ninth.
It is like, I mean, the other day, if I was watching that, which thank God I wasn't, but I would have been saying, okay, how many do we need here? Like I've texted you guys, how many do we need here? And you guys were like 9, 10.
Yeah.
We need to add about 10 here. You want to feel safe? Add about literally a 6-run lead against a 7-run lead against a Punch and Judy Kentucky team that smashed their brains in.
Respectfully, not pulling a card from Matt's deck here.
Yeah.
They suck out loud. Kentucky sucks out loud.
They're so bad. And we were so I've done a heel turn. I hope it works. This is by design. I would like to think that, we wake them up. The year we went to the Elite Eight with JP Prince, we devoted a 3-hour rip fest to him, and he became the team's MVP. So there you go.
Well, we ripped this past team for 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, and they went to the Elite Eight.
They lost 11 games.
Half of the Elite Eight teams have been ripped.
So they lost 11 games.
By a bunch.
But here's the thing. When I think about this baseball team, I think about, okay, well, how do you win games? You win games with timely hitting. You win games with a good bullpen. You have to have that in the postseason. And you have to be pretty good on defense. This team's got one of the three because they don't hit. And to Sean's point, they literally don't pitch it at all. I mean, they've taken this freshman because there was nobody else in the bullpen. They've burned him up. I mean, he is burned up. He is like in Krenzel territory right now. And it's too bad because I really have enjoyed seeing these runs. Put it this way. I'm not looking for any like Saturday night heroics. We're on the road at Clemson and a transfer from somewhere steps up and hits a 2-run home run in the 9th inning out of nowhere. Are you looking for that, Sean, from this team?
No, sir.
No. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm with Taylor, what Taylor wrote today, which is I'm not judging this head coach till 2027. Now, one thing that Taylor and Matt say that I differ from is they think if Tony, Frank, Q, and the crew, and there's one more, Tony, Frank, Q, and there's one more, we're still here, that we would be 3 or 4 games better. I think if you had the same arms in the bullpen, same soft tossers, nobody with gas, I think you'd be getting the same results.
I don't think they blow 3 5-run leads with Frank Anderson over there, though.
Cinco, where are you on that? I just think these guys have learned how to lose, Bri. They learned how to lose last year. And by the way, it's really hard after you win a national championship to stay at any level. We've seen that. It's like a bee when they sting somebody and then you lose your stinger. Bri, what time's our Wake Forest guest?
He's calling in about 5 minutes.
And who I need a full preview, Bri. Well, we'll talk about it because I want to unpack the plight of Wake. I want to unpack Juke Harris, what kind of kid he is. I want to unpack how he improved year over year and how he did what he did, and then what it's like to cover a team that's basically a feeder team for other teams now. That's got to be a strange feeling. You talk about a jarring deal. Imagine Wake Forest, pretty good basketball tradition. You know, that's Tim Duncan's alma mater. And
Chris
Paul's alma mater, and Rodney. What was that kid's name? Really cool.
Rodney Rogers.
Yeah, that's right. The forward. Yes.
Randolph Childress.
The jail.
And Dave Odom.
The jail. They've had some really good players down through the years, and now they're just. I don't know. I don't know, but people are saying, Cinco, that Elander has no fire and he's this and he's that. Look, I mean, Tony Vitello coaching out there in Giants land doesn't exactly look like he's got a lot of fire, Cinco.
No, I think it's.
Players,
you said earlier about the difference. I as they say, I can't quantify the delta between Vitello here and there, but to think that you're not going to suffer from losing 3 of your main cogs in that management. I mean, there has to be some kind, just the change alone, change of personality. There has to be some kind of effect there.
Yeah.
I don't really care about his fire, not fire. I've seen enough to know that, and I've seen for the past 8-9 years, Elander knows what he's doing. He was the same guy that crushed. It was the coach of all of them crushing all those home run records.
Yeah.
That he's the exact same guy that was calling for base steals, etc. But so who knows about that? I never thought Tony Vitello's strong point was managing pitchers on the mound. I mean, other people have said that. I never saw it. In fact, I thought he and Elander almost Siamese twins with that. I thought that would improve, but not really. But the biggest concern I have is just the visual concern is this is a young team that's very, very small compared to, I guess Ole Miss was playing a bunch of 21, 22, 23-year-olds. And we just had frankly, a petite team. And I think that's shown. But another concern I have is the absolute lack of urgency. When you were recruited here because of the brand built by, Max Ferguson and Cal Stark and Semo and Rucker and Trey Lipscomb and Kavers. That's what you were recruited for. And for you to go out and lay an egg several weekends this year when those guys put the place on the map, I think that's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing, and I feel sorry for the lettermen that came before them because they're tarnishing the brand, and I don't mind saying that. These players are tarnishing the brand.
When we continue, Cam Lemons-DeBro joins. Going to break it down scientifically, and we'll talk with him as we continue right after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with their same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall.
Your Knoxville Smokies are back home all this week, and we've got the best promotions, like kicking off the week with Cinco de Mayo. Then all-you-can-eat Wednesday, Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. And this weekend, get to the ballpark early on Friday and get your free camo replica jersey. Love gum? Well, good. It's Big League Shoe Night on Saturday with post-game fireworks, and we're celebrating Mom on Sunday. It's Mother's Day. Woo! What a week. Reserve your seats now at smokiesbaseball.com.
TB back with you. Cam Lemons, Debro joining. You will bow thy head when you say thy name. Sports fans, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chillins of all ages. We just spent, he and I, a few minutes getting acquainted, hanging out, and singing the absolute praise and love, the off-air, now on-air love of the great Steve Forbes. And Cam, it's got to be, as I welcome you in, thank you for doing this, you of Demon Deacons Digest. It's got to be quite a joy to be around a guy like Steve Forbes for your gig.
Well, first, thanks for having me. I'm always happy to be here. Steve is probably, in the almost decade I've been doing this, the most honest coach I've ever had to deal with. Every time people see him on Twitter or in press conferences of him being a rambunctious, kind of likable guy, that's just who he is. That's who he is off the record. And I can appreciate that because I think they're in college sports these days. There's a level of authenticity that has gone out of the window. And I think Steve is someone that has very much kept being who he is, regardless of what else is happening.
Well, and you made a great point because we were talking about him yesterday because I was sharing the insight that I had, which is that Steve Forbes basically told this kid, look, if it's me, and he has a great relationship with Juke Harris. This is the finance of this thing. Now, it's almost like some schools are serving as like feeder schools for others. I don't even know any other way to say that, but it's such an odd deal, like how we've gotten here, and it's not sustainable. But in this iteration of what we're watching for collegiate sports, this is the space that we're in, this demarcation beginning of until we get some guardrails on it. Anyway, so the story goes this way, that Cam, he calls the coach and says, hey, I got kind of a decision here and I trust you. And Forbes says, look, I really love my time in Knoxville. And, and then I was at East Tennessee State. They're good people there. They're good basketball fans. And Barnes is going to do a great job with you. So if it were me, I'd go there. Does that surprise you?
No. No, I mean, honestly, not to delve too much into conversations I have with Steve on off the record, but I mean, that was the expectation, at least for me. If he didn't stay in state, I know Michigan made a big push, but if he didn't stay in the state, when he hit the portal, I thought Tennessee was going to be the number one option for him, because I think it's the relationship Juke had with Rick beforehand, but also Steve's relationship with Rick Barnes. Those two are good friends. They talk a fair amount, as I know coaches sometimes do and don't. But I think with Steve, like a lot of times you hear about coaches trying to play games with their kids, try to tell them the right, wrong thing. Steve is a very honest guy with his players all the way through. And it doesn't really surprise me that he's like, look, Rick is someone that I know you trust. He's someone that I trust. Go somewhere that you feel comfortable in. While you're still going to be a big piece of that. It's somewhere that I think you will have a lot more comfort and be set up to succeed. Not saying he wouldn't succeed with Dusty May. He just won a national title, but I think with the familiarity around there, it doesn't surprise me that Steve would be honest with them and say, you know what, this is somewhere that comfort and style of play would really help you versus, chasing maybe the highest dollar figure.
And I was telling you that people in Upper East Tennessee love Steve from his time at East Tennessee State. They were sad to see him go. My friend, Dr. Rogers, Performance Medicine, Ben and their family, they just love him, and some other folks. He came out even to hang out with us at an event we had there. Took time out of his schedule to come do that. People here love him. People here have seen him at various shows, and I think he's got a son that goes to school here, I want to say.
Yeah, I think just graduated.
Okay, yeah. So he was seen, and he's got a ton of friends in this community. And you made a great comment about Steve before we get into unpacking Juke, because Steve's a part of this Juke deal. I really do think that's part of the equation here. And you were saying that everywhere this guy goes, basically, there's a trail of people saying great things about him. Share that with us.
Yeah, I think when Steve first got hired, at a place like Wake Forest, a guy with a JUCO background, violation, you start thinking about, okay, why does this person make sense? So you start doing the digging of the background on Steve Forbes, and all of a sudden you go to East Tennessee State, you go to Tennessee, you go to Barton County, you go to Northwest Florida, you go to all of these places, and every time you bring up Steve, everyone's faces light up. It's this guy was awesome for us. Did it work out? Maybe not. But regardless of if it didn't, it more than likely did. Everyone would always say how genuine of a person, how good of a coach he is. And it was just verbatim when you started doing it, like going through the interviews. Now you got hired during COVID, so you're about 6 years in, and, there's always a chatter about this and that, but then you look around and he's being inducted in the JUCO Hall of Fame this year. And you look around and East Tennessee State is inducting him into their Hall of Fame. And you see all the things all of a sudden, this is just a genuinely good, successful person and I don't think it's not so much surprising. I think when you talk to Steve, you can see why, but in this day and age, I think it's hard to find that level of authenticity. I think everyone's just trying to make sure they're getting to the end goal, make sure they're getting to the win. Steve obviously cares about winning, but a lot of people cut corners. And with Steve, I don't think you see, there's a fun story about that with Juke, but you see that Steve genuinely does care about where he is at every point in time, making sure he doesn't burn bridges with the guys he has, whether that's both his players, administrators, coaches. And that's a lasting impact. And I think as we get maybe 10, 15 years outside of this, people are going to look back at Steve and go, yeah, this was just one of the more authentic, genuinely good coaches that we had in the sport.
Share the Juke cutting corner story. Go ahead, man. You walked into it.
It was about a year ago. Yeah, it was right around the Michigan game, 2025, 24, where in Greensboro, and Juke played well in the game. We're talking to him about Juke. Obviously, he's a prize recruit from right down the road. And we're like, okay, so, tell us about Juke. What's going on with him? And he's like one of the times that he remembers why he wanted Juke was they were at a grocery store, I believe it was, and someone had left the shopping cart in a spot, which I don't speak for everyone, but for me, that's one of my pet peeves. Juke goes out of his way to take the shopping cart. No one asked him to. Just goes out of his way, takes the shopping cart, puts it back in. And from that moment, Steve's like, that's the kind of person I want at my school. I want to be able to coach. I want someone that is, yes, of course, I want them to be as good as a basketball player as they can be, but also I need someone that is good people, because good things happen to good people. And when you see someone that's going out of their way to be a kind person, it's something as little as a shopping cart. I know we always like grand gestures, but something as small as going out of your way to get the shopping cart, put it back in, when someone else is just saying, "I don't care about it." That those are indicative of the type of character of people the type of person I think someone like Juke Harris is.
It doesn't have to be like some big grandiose gesture, right? Just be a decent person. Where your feet are. I hear that about this kid. Let's talk about his improvement season over season. Well, what was the difference for him? He put up these great numbers, the 21 points a game, 8 assists a game, and became literally a 3-level scorer. And none of that happens overnight. So walk us through that.
With Juke, going into the season, we all kind of thought Juke, I was the biggest drummer of Juke's going to take a jump. Now, I didn't know that jump was going to be a 21-point scorer, but he was being put in a position to succeed. One of the biggest things you can see, and it's also another source he will tell you, is you can watch him from the Michigan game, their first time they played Michigan, up until the first game of this past season. It looks like two completely different people. He got so much bigger and stronger. He put on a ton of weight. His body, he reshaped his body, and that was a really important part, especially playing in the ACC, where they let your guards and your wings get fouled a lot and without any calls. It's a pretty physical game with your guards, and Juke knew he had to get stronger with that, talking to Hunter Salas, talking to Ty Appleby. And so he really put in the work in the weight room, and that helped him kind of absorb contact, absorb a lot of stress, especially being that number one option. And then it also came into the fact of being a better shooter. He was a solid shooter just on low volume his freshman year, but he knew that he was going to jump up from being a guy that's going to be asked to shoot one to two times from 3 a game to you're going to take 5, you're going to take 6, you're going to take 7 to 3 a game. And so he understood that. And a lot of his offseason was you're going to have to be a good 3-point shooter. And I think having a guy like Hunter Salas around him the year before was really impactful. They're really similar people. Just they're quiet, they're homebodies. What they like to do is play basketball, hang out with their friends, go home. That's all they like to do. You'll never catch them in trouble. And I think just having his head down and having an idea of at first of trying to get to the NBA really kind of put it into him. It's like, I need to be able to work harder and harder and harder. And you really saw the fruits of that labor kind of throughout the season.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like the lights come on for guys and they kind of realize, hey, I can do it at this level. Right. And if I can do it here, I can kind of explode. So looking at him, right, how do you think his game projects to what Tennessee likes to do? And one of the things that Rick Barnes really prides himself on is finding guys that can defend some. What kind of defensive player would you say Juke Harris is?
I think that's the one question mark I have for Juke in this entire thing. And it's not the biggest. It's not like he's an objectively bad defender. But at times you did see him fall asleep a little bit. At times you did see him kind of lack a little bit on that aspect. Now, part of that might be because he had to be the first, second, and third option on offense. So being on defense might not have been as big of a priority in terms of conserving energy. But I think when you look at him as a legitimate 6'7", 6'8", 200-pound guy, he's still growing to this day. That was a big thing. He kept growing and growing, and I think he still had a little bit of height and weight into him there. I think having a lot of guys that can switch around him is going to be able to help. I think he's a capable defender. He was someone that I think when they beat Florida State, he made the game-winning defensive play to stop Rob McCray. So he's got defensive tools with him. I mean, you can't really teach that size and athleticism. I think a guy like Rick Barnes obviously can get him to buy in a little bit more on defense, but I think as a perimeter defender, you could definitely get worse on that.
As we're joined, we're unpacking Tennessee's prize recruit out of the transfer portal, Cam Lemons-DeBro joining. He's with Demon Deacons Digest, and we're breaking it down scientifically regarding Juke Harris, and now that it's official to Tennessee. You kind of hinted at this, but you got a sense he was going to go to Tennessee the whole time. Is that kind of what you thought?
Yeah, it was a little weird because at first, the second he hits the portal, my antennas went to UNC. I know that Hubert Davis has always been someone that has coveted him, and NC State, especially once Justin Gainey got there as well. Gainey was a big recruiter for him at Tennessee, but I knew that. But once kind of the first week or so was there, and I know there was chatter about UNC and chatter about NC State, I didn't get the sense anymore that he was going to stay in State. And I thought if he wasn't going to stay in State, then Tennessee was more than likely going to be the better option for him. And if he talked to a lot of people around his circle, I can never speak to, what agents want to do these days. That's always out of my purview. But in terms of familiarity, because again, I think one of the big things and why I thought he was going to stay in State and why everyone thought staying in State was an option was being close to home. Now, Tennessee is not exactly, a 30-minute drive.
Right.
Lot closer than going up to Michigan. And I think that's when you're someone like Juke Harris and being as close to your family, he's really close to his mom, he's really close to his brother. Those are two of the most important people in his life. Being able to be as close to them as possible while having a good opportunity, that's everything kind of lined up for Tennessee to make a ton of sense for him.
What kind of teammates he going to be here? He going to be the highest paid kid on the roster. That's always an interesting thing to carry around. I guess he was the star player on Wake's roster last year, so it's something he's used to. What kind of kid is he?
Great kid. That's why I kind of likened him to Hunter Sallis when Wake had him last year. Hunter was obviously the highest paid player on Wake's team last year. You would have never known had the reports not been out. These aren't guys like him and Juke are kind of the same mold of you'll never see them. They'll buy a couple things here and there. That's fine. They're 19, 20 years old. That happens. But you won't see them kind of being flashy about anything. They're like Juke is a very, very good person and a very good teammate. It's someone that I repeatedly heard from both players and coaches that he's going to get on you about certain things because he's a very competitive human being. He wants to win. That is paramount to him. He wants to be a winner, but he's not going to sit here and if he doesn't get 12, 13 shots, going to sit there and pound the corner. He's going to sit here and figure out what he wants to do. And that was something that kept him on the court his freshman year was, he was used to being the big fish in the small pond at Salisbury High School and, taking all the shots. And then he was relegated to a guy that was standing in the corner, go get rebounds. But how he found himself to stay on the court was, I'm going to have to move off the ball. I'm going to be a cutter. I'm going to rebound. I'm going to be someone that's doing everything else. And I think people like that, and he hasn't really lost that aspect. Even when he was the main option last year, when Nate Cummings was actually playing that hurt, he loved to move off the ball. He loved to go grab rebounds. That speaks to who he is as a teammate because he's willing to do that dirty work to be able to win in these games versus it's not so much about him getting 15 shots. It's what am I doing to impact the game? I'm making sure I'm being a good teammate to my teammates. And that's I can't say anything bad about Juke Harris, man. This is one of my favorite kids that I've covered in the last few years. And I'm happy he's at a good spot. I think people are going to love him.
Well, that's neat. Let me throw a couple questions that a couple of our YouTube listeners have. We have a couple hundred folks watching in the middle of the day, which is pretty impressive, long form programming. So we have some folks in that venue. By the way, you can listen to us, reach us on our app, several different spots, several thousand people consume it a day. And I'm going to let our guest give his coordinates out. So maybe we'll create some traffic for him over in Demon Deacon land as he a really, really quality person. It's great spending some time with Cam Lemons DeBro, who went out of his way to tell me before just what a good man Steve Forbes is. And, you're in a spot when you're in a place like Wake. I'm going to let Cam talk about that, how you just have to eval properly if you want to compete and stay in the game. They're in a very difficult spot. But moving along here, can Juke help Tennessee and play some point guard? Can he handle the ball, initiate offense?
I think offensively, that's probably a question I have. I think, initiating in terms of, I think he can get you into your set. I think if you need someone to get the ball moving, you can do that. One of the problems he had at times was, I don't think he's necessarily the craftiest guy. He's more of a bulldozer. He's going to get downhill. He's going to get downhill and get to the rim. And that's important, but sometimes that's not always needed. So I have some questions about, is he going to be able to necessarily be the number one person on the ball? But if you're asking him to do it, 10, 15% of the time, I think that's fine. He can create his own shot. If it's 30, 40% of the time, then I would have some questions there.
Because I think that one of the things that will keep him, from right now, being an NBA quote unquote first round draft pick, aside from the fact that it's one of the deepest first rounds and top of the drafts that we've ever seen, is that, they say the ball handling piece, and then somebody else has brought this up over on YouTube. Fleet Pete VFL says he's looking at the film of him, and it looks like he needs to get bigger. Is he still growing into his body right now?
Yeah, he's still growing. I mean, originally in high school, he was around 6'5", 6'6". And then he got to Wake and he was 6'7". And then, you kind of look at him next to someone that we kind of know is 6'6", 6'7". And you're like, oh no, Juke's actually taller than that. So I'm not really sure what he would have actually come in at the combine had he gone. If he finishes around 6'8", I wouldn't be surprised. Juke's a little bit of a slender build. He's never going to be the biggest person in the room, but I think there could be probably an extra 5 to 6 different pounds of muscle you could definitely put on him.
Living listener saying no way he's 6'7". Is he really 6'7"? Now you've stood next to him.
He's tall. He's tall.
I mean, these guys, man, how could somebody, when you stand next to the guy and cover the thing and have for 10 years, but the living listener over here wants to challenge a guy that goes to practice, that knows these people.
It happens.
I call these people twidiots, man. I call them the twidiots out in the Twittersphere.
Well, no, I think if you ever want to question how big Juke is, Wake Forest had a player, Trayvon Spillers, who played some center, played some four for him. He measured in at 6'6.75" in shoes at the Portsmouth Invitational. You can tell very clearly Juke Harris is taller than Trayvon Spillers on the film. So that's pretty much the reference point you need of how tall Juke is.
Somebody said that your shopping cart story that you told earlier. Look, whether it's a coach taking the time to bend down and grab a trash wrapper and throw it away, or whatever it is, you're just trying to make your environment better. They say that really makes them excited for this kid being here. It sounds like he's a really, really good person. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, it's sometimes hard to find these guys that are caring more about just one thing. And I think there's so many different things you do in recruiting. You have to talk about the kids, talk about the parents, the family. A fun thing Steve Forbes will say is there's a low maintenance and there's no maintenance. Juke is about no maintenance as humanly possible. You don't have to worry about him in the classroom. You don't have to worry about him, on the court. I mentioned him getting fouled a ton. He got essentially just assaulted on the court more often than not, being the number one option. And while he drew a lot of fouls, there were definitely more to be called. It took about until the second game in the ACC tournament for him to really actually show some frustration about that this season. He is a very level-headed kid. He's very down to earth. He's where he tries to figure out what he wants to be, where his feet is. That's something he said to us kind of in his exit review after their NIT loss. He wants to be where his feet is. And, he tried to rush to do a lot of stuff, but he wants to make sure he's doing stuff appropriately. And I think when you talk to him and you listen and talk to him and you look at him and you go, okay, you you have a good support system around you. And I think that's really important. You don't have to worry about support system being loud about what's going on. That helps. And I think you now look at him and go, you've had experience being the number one option. You've had experience at two different levels. Now you haven't shown that you've been some sort of ego kind of guy. It really does translate. Okay, you just might be a good human being. You might just be down to earth and someone that we're not going to have to worry about in terms of just being a hothead around the court.
Cam Lemons, the bro, you're the man. How did I do with your name? Did I butcher it a million times, or did I do okay?
You did great. You did a lot better than my teachers did growing up. I'll tell you that.
What they used to call you growing up, because I got called all kinds of things with my name.
It was D-bro, like it was like or like the sub-bro. It was always close, but it was never there.
Yes. And let me ask Cinco something. Hey, Cinco, Kevin Dubrow was with what group, Cinco? Let me see how good Cinco is. Kevin Dubrow, Cinco.
He was the lead singer of Quiet Riot, and his younger brother is the kind of fix-it surgery on that reality show Botched.
What? His brother's like a plastic surgeon and whatnot?
In L.A., yeah. And he and his wife are on one of those housewives of the whatever. But yeah, he is.
Yeah, or Orange County. My girlfriend loves it.
Orange County. Kevin DeBruyn's brother is a famed plastic surgeon.
Does he do aging Italians that look like Muppets? Could he help me? Hey, Cam.
He has a scalpel, not a magic wand, brother.
Cam on the Hey, Cam, on the way out, tell the living listener where they can find you. And I appreciate your spirit, my friend. You've been a lot of fun to visit with here.
It's a beautiful day to be alive. And we're here. We're happy. There's nothing to be upset about. And I'm happy to be here. You can find me over at Demon Deacon Digest, which is part of the 247 Sports Network. If you want some terrible takes about the Atlanta Braves, my birthday is the 95 World Series. So big Atlanta Braves fan.
Let's go, man.
Braves, Wake Forest, everything else. At Cam Lemons _ on Twitter. And that's normally where you can find me.
As somebody here just said, this has been great stuff. I'm even more excited now about Juke Harris. And so your message on the way out here is Tennessee got a real good one on and off the court in this guy.
Great kid. Great kid.
Much love to you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Brian Hartman, when you practice random acts of kindness, you put the cart back in the buggy. What do you call the thing that the receptacle that the buggy goes in, Bri, outside the? Because when I see people park them up on the side, not that I haven't done it.
It's like a big metal rack.
That's not
a corral, I believe.
A corral. I call it
cart corral. That's what they call. I was a bagger back in the day.
Cart
that's what
corral.
My manager called it.
Cart corral.
It's like a shopping cart chute.
So cart corral. That's right, Brian. You took the words right out of my mouth. It looks like Danny White had to have been at his local. Let me think here. Let's stay brand loyal for the Vols. His local Food City. And he saw that and he said, there's my student section right there. Brian, am I something or what? And Brian, we had somebody that threw away that we picked up trash. What did you think about Brian?
Yeah. There's an ex-football coach who likes to pick up litter on campus every time he has a chance. This guy also is an ex-AD as well.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be paired with a potentially great basketball player who likes to return shopping carts from a random spot in the parking lot to where they belong.
Mikey Boy Griffith used to tell a great story about, and he would repeat it over and over again about Fulmer picking up trash man. Okay, then we got Dr. ZDDS who says the following. Tony just leaves the cart in the middle of the aisle after breaking the hot sauce bottle. Y'all, I'm going to be sharing that story with you. I have not been back in that supermarket since I did that on that fateful Sunday. It's totally embarrassing. But I got a Cholula hot sauce, and Matt cut this up. We're going to put it on social media. We're making a thing out of it. It is going to be now. We're going to tighten up our game here. But anyway, I got a text from a guy. It's Yay Long, and he was there. He saw the whole thing happen. He heard me telling the story, and he said, I thought that was you. And then when I heard you tell the story, I literally had glass pop up in the air. Imagine the biggest bottle of Cholula hot sauce you can get your hands on. And I had white slacks on. Cinco, we don't call them slacks. What do you call them? The white, beige, oh God, what do you call those things? They're not the pants. What do you call these pants, Bride, that I'm wearing right now? What do you call them? Dockers.
God only knows.
They're Dockers. Anyway.
They probably don't match what you're, what
else?
No.
I have a Flyer shirt on that. But anyway, the point is, Bender of Strength says we need to call that place the Juke joint if he's a star. Rocky Top Ruckus says that Juke passed the old shopping cart litmus test. Cinco, do you put it back in the Danny White student section, the shopping cart, or do you just park it up on the sidewalk sometimes? Cinco, how do you do it? How about you, Bri? How do you do it? What do you do, Bri? Do you make sure to put it back in the Danny White chute?
Yeah, I always do, but most of the time I just get a few items here and there, so I don't need a shopping cart that often unless I'm really getting something that's kind of heavy to carry, or maybe a few things. So it's rare that I ever have to utilize the use of one. But I always put it back outside where it belongs. I never leave it just by the car or anywhere else.
Allison and 640 Pothole, they said, Tony, you're wearing khakis. That's right. That's what I'm wearing, khakis. I mean, mine's a terrible thing to waste, and mine's been gone for a while. On the other side, I got an incredible cause that I want to tell you about, something that you're going to get involved with if you're in Knox County this weekend, and you're going to help my friends at Fish Pantry, and you have to do very much to do it, but we're going to feed several thousand people at a time where gas is $5 a gallon now. It cost me like $72 to fill my tank up last night. And working folks are falling between the cracks. And what my man Jim Wright does at Fish Hospitality Pantry is keeping people alive. Praise God for him. And we did a kickoff last night with the letter carriers, and we'll spend a few minutes on that, and then we'll get the great Watson Brown in here. It's a Wednesday with Watson. Love ya, love ya, love ya, love ya, love ya. More on the other side as we continue with more right after this. Inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie. They underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsuranceTN.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Achillio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's national award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, fired up, focused, and prepared. And I mean, we're pumped, stacked, packed, and jacked. And I was very excited last night to be out with the great Marco Scarza. And I saw the great Robert Grider, who's vice president, Smoky Mountain Branch 419 with your United States Post Office, one of our great letter-carrying heroes in the rain, the sleet, and the snow. It's all true, isn't it, Robert Grider? It's all true, isn't it?
Well, depending on who you ask, it is.
Let's go, as they say in the trade. Yeah, it is all true, my friend. You guys are like the sun shining in the middle of the day, my brother. You're right there. Whether the clouds are out or not, y'all are like the sun shining in the middle of the day. And I want to shout y'all out, and I want you to share with the listeners, our Knox Countyites, an opportunity to help out. Because last night over at the Elks Lodge, we had a chance to kick off And the letter carriers have done this now for, I guess, 3 years in a row. But the Fish Pantry Stamp Out Hunger Yellow Bag Program, which takes place this Saturday, May 9th. Share with us why you, and you're so enthusiastic about it, why you felt the need and y'all felt the need to jump at this and really put your arms around it.
Well, this has been going on across the nation for years now. And I started carrying mail about 6 years ago. And when I first met Carlos a couple of years ago and started hearing about this food drive and what it was about, it caught my attention. And I wasn't 100% on board with the idea at the time, being new to the post office. And then over time, I've noticed, this is a chance for us to not only interact with the community outside of just delivering people's mail, but also a chance for us to give back to the people that truly are in need. And this could be the guy next door to you. You're giving me the food. It's going to him. I mean, it's a great chance for us to come together as a community. It's one day of the year, a small little act, and it's going to have a major impact on someone's life. It could change it for the better. And who knows? I mean, they could put it forward next year. And
yeah,
I just couldn't help but get more involved with it this year.
I was talking to Marcos last night. We were just talking about, how expensive it is to live these days, right? And you think about these folks, man, that are just falling between the cracks. The price of rent is skyrocketing. Gas is up right now. I mean, obviously that's a thing that fluctuates, but it's up right now. Every time something like that occurs, it pushes people that are already in the margins, and it puts them in a spot where, hey, folks like Jim Wright and what Jim does at Fish Pantry stands in the gap for them. And that's what I love about, I've sensed a lot of servant hearts in that room last night. Cause let's face facts here. When we get to a Saturday at the end of a long week for you guys of toting the mail, and your back hurts and it's time to get back and it's time to get home and it's time to get off the clock and all that stuff. I just think it's remarkable that there was a room full of people last night that were enthusiastic about picking up what we hope is several 1,000 pounds of canned goods that will go to helping to alleviate and feed people in our community. I think it's remarkable that you guys are doing that. And I want to personally thank you, man.
Oh, it's definitely my pleasure, my honor to do it. Just helping people, man. That's what this is about. It's not about us getting recognition. It's really about helping our community. That's all it is. And this is just one small way that we try to help.
Yep. Well,
and like I said, it might be something small to us, but to someone else, it's a lifesaver.
I want to keep this thing live and local and legal, I think. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe we're on. I don't know.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340.
Stay right
WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
All right, so we've got the drive this weekend. And I want to shout out my letter carriers across Knox County. And I want to shout out my friends at Fish Pantry because it's an opportunity for you to do a great thing. The yellow bags start arriving when? As we visit with Robert Grider. How's this going to work? What's the best of your knowledge on this?
Well, some people began delivering bags as recently as this past Saturday.
Okay.
So people will be getting cards and bags in their mailboxes.
Okay.
And it's going to vary depending on your location and area. There are more rural areas of town. They will not receive bags necessarily at the same time. Just depends on the scheduling of carriers.
Yeah.
But if you do not get a bag or card, that doesn't mean that we don't want you to, participate. We are asking the whole community to help us out here. So even if people don't get cards or bags, if you know somebody, spread the word to us for us. I mean, it's just something that this is something that communication is really going to help with.
That's right. That's what we're here for. I've told Jim Wright, anytime you need me, anytime you need our megaphone, we are here for you because I believe in what he does. I believe in his heart. I believe in his organization. I believe that y'all have a great spirit in that room last night, allowing us to come in there and disrupt what looked like a very exciting meeting. So on the way out, are there any final thoughts that you have, Robert? And by the way, let me say this. Robert today went to Channel 8 with the great Marcos Garza, and he's given his time right now. And today's your off day. I'm just going to brag on you for a second, man. You could be kicking. You don't need to be on here today. Today's your off day. I feel almost bad about drafting you into doing this on your off day.
Well, to me, I don't take a day off. I signed up for my union position to take care of the carriers. And in my eyes, something like this, it's taking care of them because it's helping them spread the word through their areas of town they deliver to help people on their routes that need this. So Saturday this week, coming up for the food drive, myself and a few other carriers have already taken the day off to spend our time driving around picking food up.
Wow.
So other people can worry about just delivering the mail.
I had no idea that you have a whole army of people that are going to be driving around picking up the food. That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah. It happens across the country. There's people that'll be driving around all day by themselves or with a partner, and they'll just pick up food, or they'll meet carriers that have too much in their truck, and they'll offload it. They'll take it back to their offices, unload it, and they'll go right back out. And that's going to be my Saturday.
Robert Grider, God bless to you. And again, if you don't get a yellow bag and you live in Knox County, put the canned goods in a bag and leave them out by do they leave them out by the, go ahead. Tell me what to do here.
If it's just a bag full, you can leave it at your mailbox.
Okay.
You're hanging on the post.
Okay.
If it's one or two cans, some people put them in their mailboxes, or for some people, if they have a lot they want to donate, they could just put their flag up and put a note saying, "Hey, come check my front door."
All right.
And your carrier will come get it.
And my lovely wife, Laura, always forgets to do this. So she can't forget this year. Robert, I want you to speak directly to her right now. She cannot forget this year. Tell her.
Well, it's not necessarily forgetting. So a lot of people don't think about it when it's on a Saturday.
Yep.
So what we decided some of the offices are doing this year, they're saying, hey, if you want to donate and you can't remember to do it Saturday, bring it by the post office. We'll go ahead and accept it early and set it aside to be donated.
Bang.
With everything.
Bang. There you go. Another activity. Hey, Robert, you wanted to add something, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
You're my man. Did you want to add something else on the way out? You were getting ready to say something.
Oh, I just want to say thanks for having me on here.
Yeah.
And, the people at Fish have been great. Mr. Garza, great man, very helpful with organizing all this. And
yes.
We just want to make sure Knoxville's taken care of.
Brother, I love you. You're doing God's work, and I love it. And I appreciate the spirit of community and the way you've gotten behind this. And praise God for you giving your off day on Saturday, you and all those guys. Man, that's so next level. I can't even believe it. I'm beside myself. Thank you, my man. Take care.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, brother. And that's one more time. Robert Grider, he's vice president, Smoky Mountain Branch 419. We were there last night at their meeting. And, hey, man, what we impart to them is what we impart on the air, which is that Jim Wright, I told the story about how I've seen Jim Wright's folder. He's got one of these big, huge, thick, like back in the day before we used to put all our music on an iPad, that people that play music know this. You would go to gigs with this thing. You'd have a binder this thick and it'd have 300 songs in it, with like little chord charts on it. Play this song, play that song, play this song, play that song. Anyway, Jim's got a whole big, thick binder, yay thick. And then we're going to get to Watson Brown. There's breaking news today, by the way. And I had no idea this was coming on the 2014 playoff, but we're going to talk about it. Jim Wright has a binder, and you go through and you read this binder. And the binder has a bunch of letters from people saying, and it's amazing, okay? Things like Mr. Wright or Jim Wright or to to whom it concerns, I just want to thank you. You helped keep my family alive when we lost our jobs, that kind of thing. Here's a check for $100. Here's a check for $50. I'm back on my feet. I'm back working. I'm back doing what I'm doing. And now I want to contribute to what you do. And there are there's a bunch of those in there. And you just kind of read that and you go, wow, this is kind of real life here. And that's why I will stand behind and will always stand with the great Jim Wright. And he feeds people with no judgment too. He doesn't qualify people. I mean, he says God gives freely. I'm going to give freely. And if you're going to steal from God, steal from, amen, brother. Amen. Everything that they do there is about treating people with the utmost respect and dignity. And it is a beautiful thing. Now, let's move along. 2014 playoff, Cinco. Are you fired up, folks, and prepared? I'm going to connect with the great Watson Brown. Brian Hartman, we've got breaking news on the 2014 playoff. CBS Sports reporting in an exclusive report today from, actually, it was Yahoo Sports reports Tuesday, and they're reporting on Yahoo's reporting. But the American Football Coaches Association, the AFCA, their executive director, Craig Bohl, he sounds like a lot of fun, BOHL, voted to recommend increasing the CFP bracket to a maximum number of teams, also to do away with conference championship games, also to end the season during the second week of January, also to protect the Army-Navy games exclusive window. They've not publicly revealed their decision on those changes, but that's what they want done, which is in lockstep with the visionary Danny White, who's right on. Danny White is right about we need to get the players to the bargaining table and figure something out here and get some caps on this thing before we burn out the billionaires. And then he's also right on that we ought to have a 2014 playoff, because if it's not going to be 12, that creates tension. 16 silly, and go ahead and go to 24 and make it a playoff sport. The SEC, Cinco, surprise, 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 wants to hold on to this championship game, Sean. Unpack it for me. If I made you king, would we go to 24 teams? Would you have 24 and keep a SEC championship game, or would you do away with the championship games? And Monken, the head coach at Army, is come out publicly as a proponent of taking the Army-Navy game and moving it out of its time slot and going to, are you ready for this? Thanksgiving, maybe day or Thanksgiving weekend with the Army-Navy game, where we could all celebrate our armed services as part of that great turkey holiday. What do you think?
Go ahead and put me in the column for all of that. 24, I mean, I've already said it. I think that gives Tennessee more of a chance to get in the playoffs going forward. I think the championship games have come and gone. I think they've served their purpose, and now it's just a money grab. And I think you would eclipse all that money with an expanded playoff and TV rights and all that. And then I'm not tied in my, my stepdad was Air Force, so I'm not all that into the Army Navy, but I appreciate and respect the tradition. And that's big of that fella to advocate moving it up. I think fewer and fewer games are now, I guess the Egg Bowl may be still there, but fewer and fewer college games are on there because it's so dominated by the NFL on Thanksgiving that I think that's great. I can endorse all of those.
Brian, would you be sad to see the championship game go?
Yeah, I wanted the championship games out of there before the 2014 playoff was actually something that would come about. But you knew eventually that they were going to expand the play. It wasn't going to stay at 12. And I thought 24 might be a little bit too many, but there are some good things to come out of this. Ending the season by mid-January is definitely one of them. Although part of me likes the fact that you do have college football extending a little bit later, but I think it's kind of silly to extend it as late as they've been extending it under this current format. I like the fact that more teams get to host games. I would have liked 16 just to have each team is so symmetrical. Nobody has buys. Buys haven't really helped teams the last couple of years.
No, they haven't.
We've seen, especially the first year. But with 24, if you can do some other, I think I could probably eventually get on board with it. Although I still would probably prefer just 16.
So Brian's got an interesting point. It's buys haven't helped teams. Buys in baseball haven't helped teams. There's a belief that you're better off playing more games. You hone yourself. A lot of times teams in the NFL that get buys get beat. There are teams out of the wild card round that end up in the Super Bowl. That happens. A little fun fact trivia question for you here. Of course, my Eagles were the first ever team to lose to a wild card team in the 1980 season, when in January of 81 in Nolens, Jim Plunkett, who came back from the dead with the Raiders. Who was the Hispanic coach back then? Tom Flores. And they won a world championship literally out of nowhere. Of course, my Eagles gagged, choked on a bone. But here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. And we're waiting for Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. But in the meantime, I would love, and Watson, the clarion call, and send them a clarion call, bro. I've tried to get through to him, but I can't. So put out the clarion call to him. Listen, here's the thing about all this stuff. The cart has left the station. It's now off the tracks. It's flying through the air. Can't stay this way forever. But the SEC, and all I know is Greg Sankey, who everybody around here tells me is brilliant. Some of my friends that know him tell me he's brilliant. He's gotten pantsed. Like, pantsed. You know what pantsed is? You want me to show you? You want me to stand up and show you? Because right now I got my TENS machine on my lower back, Cinco, and I got my pants unbuttoned, or whatever that term is. Should I show?
I don't like the way this is going.
Well, should I show people what the term pants means, Cinco, right now?
No.
Because I need Watson to skoo us today. Where's Watson? I need him to skoo us, Bri. As they say in the trade.
He's been reached out to.
Rocky Top's Ruckus said something interesting, that there's something righteous. So I can use a Van Morrison term. There's something righteous. Like you're on a Van Lowe stairway or something. About Army Navy being on the Thanksgiving weekend. Something just feels, something about that, Sean, carving out their own window for them, where the whole country gathers. Of course, the NFL is going to defecate on it, because they have to be just total pigs, because they're the pig league. No offense to the NFL, but that feels like, man, that is a righteous thing. That you know what that gives me the feeling of, Cinco? Texas coming to town in football. You know, we get a little prelude of that with the Regal Texas baseball team coming to Lindsey Nelson Stadium this weekend. Why does, and I wanted to ask Watson this, so let's just do it with us. Why does the Texas thing pop me? Why does it feel so, I don't know. Why am I so excited about the concept of Texas and Neyland Stadium?
I think it's a lot like, I won't compare them, but there's a there's always been an arrogance about the University of Texas, and much like there was, with Notre Dame. And when Texas comes, or the Yankees, or something like that, and when they come to town, you want to take them down. And so that was always one of the biggest games. Anytime Notre Dame showed up, no matter where, it was like the old Yankees coming to town. So
yep.
I think that's part of it.
Especially with the nephew of Peyton Manning leading their
Brian
team.
This year, I mean, you think about it.
His uncle has a establishment named after him.
You got the sheriff
on campus.
You got the sheriff in town who's got the graduate. He's got a piece of that. You got the sheriff up in his own private box in the stadium. You've got Archie and Olivia in the stands. You've got Cupper, right? You got Cupper. And here come the burnt orange. You got Bevo against Smokey. Smokey would destroy Bevo in a fist fight. Okay, I'm here to tell you. Smokey would bite him in the hooves, bite him in the ear, get him on the ground, and gorge him.
Eat steak that night.
He'd eat steak that night. That's right. Josh Fall says Texas has done a great job promoting their football program. In reality, they're one of the most underachieving football programs all time. Oklahoma is actually more regal in college football. Funny he should say that. Because today I took the 6 newcomers, and I say newcomers because since I've been here, in 1992 when they expanded, and John Adams was on yesterday with us recounting this. SEC commissioner at the time said, you know what? We're going to swing for the fences. They were going to add, at that point, Florida State, Miami. They were talking about Texas, Oklahoma at that time. Sean, who else was mentioned at that time? Do you remember? There were a bunch of schools that were potentially mentioned at that time by the Southeastern Conference.
West Virginia was thrown out there.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
But there were a bunch of schools. Point is.
Yep.
Clemson.
And they ended up, guys, with South Carolina and Arkansas. Now, to call that disappointing would be like saying I'm follically challenged. So, by the way, shout out today to a gentleman, Alan Ward, who's been extremely busy, of WeShipFloors.com. I shout him out in love today. If you get an opportunity, support that man and what he's doing. He's a great man, great Vol fan, great family man, good people. Shout you out, Alan. I love you, brother. So, we're visiting on, if you haven't heard, Yahoo is reporting that we're going to go to a 2014 playoff. That's what the coaches want. Now, I will caution you with this. Just because it's what the coaches want doesn't mean it's what the administrators want. Doesn't mean I know one particular administrator doesn't want it. His name, ladies and gentlemen, is Greg Sankey. There's the most interesting man in the world, and then there's Greg Sankey. He's like the opposite of that. But here's the thing. Greg Sankey came out, and he said, we're going to go to 16 teams. I'm the one that's putting this playoff together. I'm the guy they call the most, what do they call him? The most powerful man in college sport. Petiti guys got it over on him a little bit. So Greg Sankey goes to 9 games, and all of a sudden the league's playing a 9-game schedule now. And we're going to have a 2014 playoff anyway. Because Petiti said, if you don't guarantee us a certain number of teams in your 16-team playoff, I'll show you
We'll just go around you and I'll work you. We'll expand it to 24. And what did they do? They went around them and they expanded to 24. So Sankey, let me think about this here. He goes to his league member institutions now and he says, well, you're playing 9 conference games and they're going, for what reason? We were happy with 8. We were all making money at 8. We were all making money at 8. We were happy with 8. Here's the great Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Watson Brown, how we doing?
We're good.
Brother, I love you. No, you're the man. Nope, don't apologize.
I don't know what happened. You couldn't get through, and finally I got your text, so I called it a bit as soon as I got it. So
Better.
I don't know what happened.
Hey, Watson. Good things are worth waiting for. I told a girl that one time that I went to pick up. I was like,
that went in one ear and out the other.
45 minutes late, and she said, okay. She said, you're not a good thing. So that was the end of that deal. It was in high school. It didn't work out too well. Good things.
I did say, that.
Good things are worth waiting for. Watson, this is interesting. So a report is broken, and I want to get your thoughts on it because you kind of predicted this. But the American Football Coaches Association voted last week. They're recommending increasing the college football bracket to 24 teams. They're advocating as well doing away with conference championship games. The Army and the Naval Army, the cadets and the Naval Academy, to accommodate this, are going to move out of that Saturday time slot, it seems like, where they've been forever. And the Army head coach is advocating moving that game to the Thanksgiving weekend, perhaps even to Thanksgiving Day itself, so we can have a celebration of that wonderful American tradition on a wonderful American holiday. Your thoughts on any of this?
Well, it doesn't surprise me in the coaches at all, because they want to be able to get more of their teams in the playoffs. So that doesn't surprise me. Now, will it go past the coaches? I don't know. But every coach, there's going to be a bunch of coaches say, well, this will give me a better chance to get in, so I'm going to vote for expanding it. So they don't care about the money and all that. They're not the ones dealing with that. So that does not surprise me. That's the way they voted.
Do you believe the administrators? So Greg Sankey doesn't want this. Greg Sankey's made this a kind of one of his causes. He wanted a 16 team. He wanted his vision to win. And these guys all have big egos. Do you know Greg, by the way, Watson? You've been around him?
Yes, met him. Don't know him real well. He was on staff when I was around the SEC and in the SEC and all that, but don't know him real well. Mike Sly, Roy Kramer, those were the commissioners when I was around.
Yeah, he's not looking too powerful in this one. Looks like the Big Ten guy worked him, Watson. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, won't it?
Yes,
see
it will
how
be.
It plays out, and I don't know. But it'll all play itself out. We'll find out how everything goes down when it goes down.
Yes.
I'm still kind of just sitting back and watching, because I don't think this thing's over yet. And
I
we'll
agree with you.
But
yeah, because the coaches want it to the living.
That doesn't mean much.
Well, and it's not shocking, right? Because the coaches.
No.
But here's the thing. We were talking about this the other day. I want your opinion. I think you'll see coaches think this is job security, but I think this thing could boomerang on coaches. For instance, you're at Tennessee. You get in the playoffs 3 years in a row, and you lose a playoff game 3 consecutive years, they will fire you.
Well, and if you don't get in, they'll fire you, because the more you let in, the more that your program thinks you should be in.
Yep.
It'll get some long before they lose in the playoffs. I can tell you that right now. So no, I don't see how this helps or hurts coaches anymore. If I was a coach, I'd vote to expand it, because I'd like to get in. And if you're a low middle of a conference, you got a better shot of getting in, especially if it's the SEC and the Big Ten. You got a better shot of getting in. So that does not surprise me at all that the coaches would vote that way. Now we'll see what AD's presidents. We'll see where it goes from here. There were a lot of things at conference meetings I've been at when I've been coach, and then I've also been coach AD. There've been a lot of conference meetings where coaches voted for things, and it never went one bit further. So there also been a lot of things the AFCA coaches have voted for that didn't pass too.
That's interesting, right? Because people would think that to the person not involved in this and the day-to-day deal, a lot of things coaches have wanted down through the years. The administration's got to get on board for it. Because here's the thing. One of the things that was in there that's buried in there that Sankey's holding on to for dear life is these conference championship games. That's money I don't have to share.
That's money.
Generates a ton of money, Watson. I looked into it. I forget the exact figure, but it was so much higher than I expected. And it puts it right into the coffers of the league, and they don't have to share it with anybody.
No, absolutely right. And through all my years, as when coaches voted on something that would take money away from something, usually they didn't get it. Money is still the man, and I'm going to watch this play out. I'll believe it when I see it. When conference championships are gone, I'll believe it when I see it. I told you the way I'd do it is I'd lower a game, play 8, and let the last move my big games at the end, Alabama, Auburn, all of that at the end. I'd move that back a week, and I'd have that conference championship in the last week of the season and still keep it, because I can't see them giving that money up, Tony. We'll see.
The Watson Brown plan, ladies and gentlemen, you'd play instead of playing 9 games like they got hoodwinked into, which is a better value, by the way, for fans. There's no question. It's just better. Now, instead of having that second to last weekend of the season where you're playing, all the little sisters of the poor, you actually get an opportunity. We actually get an opportunity to see competition, intra-league competition. Hey, Cinco, your thoughts on some of this? I don't know that Sankey, somebody over here on YouTube said the figure $70 million. That does ring true. It's something like that. It's something in the ballpark of $70 million. Hey, Sean, these guys aren't going to give away $70 million. I mean, they're just not.
You'd be hard-pressed to think that. But, I think your original thought, Coach, is right. I think the Big Ten is running things. I mean, they made us go to a 9-game a conference schedule. They look like they're out and ahead of this thing, and so I wouldn't be surprised any way, shape, or form if they announce a 24-team playoff here shortly.
And Watson, here's the other thing, right? They go to 24. You and I know this is going to play out. We used to laugh at Jackie Sherrill 30 years ago. He'd say, you're going to have 2 super leagues one day. I used to think that old man's nuts. He's exactly right.
No, it's coming. And I've been saying it with you guys now for the last few years. It's coming. I think they'll go to 24. They're going to figure out a way to play those conference championships. That's the piece I don't think will disappear.
Wow.
I just can't see it. That's too much money. That's too much money on the table. I don't know how, but the 24 will not surprise me at all. But you got to find another week in there, and I just can't see the week becoming the conference championships. I'd see them moving up the season another week before they did that, before they give that up, and we'll see.
24 teams. Let's think of all the things to consider with 24. Watson, how do bowl games exist if I go to a 24-team playoff?
They're slowly disappearing anyway, Tony. We see a few more drop each year. The big bowls are now tied into the playoffs. I mean, they may tie more bowls into the playoffs before it's over. I don't know. All you got to do is look at the FCS playoffs, and you'll see how it goes. They've been doing this. And so now you're going to have a kind of an FCS playoff deal, and the first round games aren't very good. They haven't been ever. If there's one upset out of all of them, usually there's none. But just go back and look at the history of the FCS playoffs, and that'll let you know right there what you're fixing to jump into.
Do the two power leagues, which is what I was hinting at before, expand? And here's what I mean.
Yeah.
The whole goal now, Watson, you know this and I know this. They go to 24 teams. The whole goal now is if you're the SEC, I don't care if I go to 30 teams, I want 8 of those teams to get playoff money because I want the lion's share of that money. Not only do I want to add teams, but I want to add the Clemsons of the world that have the wherewithal to play in this point in time, the North Carolinas of the world that would have the wherewithal to compete for that money. That's why this thing becomes pretty interesting. If they really do pivot to 24, that will trigger another round of expansion, will it not?
Well, yes, it will, and it'll also trigger more money in the pockets because people are going to watch those games. So That's why it's going to 24. This is still a money deal. It's still a money deal, and it's never going to be anything but that. And so they're sitting there saying, well, we might get 1 or 2 more teams in with 24 or 3 more teams in with 24. The Big Ten saying the same thing. The ACC saying, oh, this will help us big time. That's why it's going to 24. There's no doubt in my mind that's happening. I'm just saying I'll believe it when I see it when the conference championship games go.
Watson, you could be right. You know that, Sean, you think about it, and Bri, do you guys think about that? It would be counterintuitive to keep, and a total money grab to keep the conference championship games. But I got news for you. You know what the NFL does? And when I was a kid, the NFL would play preseason games like in North Carolina or wherever, Neyland Stadium. We remember those. And you'd have a local promoter that would pay the league. You know what they do now? They charge people full price as part of their season ticket package. Now, people listening to me probably would go, Tony, that's not true. That is 100% true, Watson. And those are games that you either like it or you lump it or you take it down the road and dump it. But everybody out there is paying 2 extra full game tickets for the pleasure of watching whatever that is that takes place. So to your point, Watson, it would not be out of the realm of possibility that those championship games stay. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
No, that'll be the last thing to go. If it goes, that'll be the last thing to go. I've been in the FCS playoffs. I've been in the Division II playoffs. So I've been in this, and I know. And the FCS teams have been playing 12 games and having their playoff. They do not have conference championships, of course, but they've been doing this, and it'll work. There's going to be more money. You won't see great games. I don't know exactly how they'll do their format, if it's going to be the FCS format or it'll be something a little different. I'm not sure about that yet. I've heard all kind of stuff, but I just think they'll figure it out. And the only way I see you do it is you move the season up. You're going to move it up a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is. And you're already playing in heat. So I don't think it would hurt them to move it up. High schools are already started by then anyway.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's what I think will happen. I think you'll see the season moved up. That's what I think will go down.
Do you do a deal, Watson, where if you're the Vols, and in the Southeast in this footprint, you play at night? And then some of the left coast teams can play during the day where it's a little more temperate. You kind of consider the climate.
Oh, yeah. No, they do that now. I mean, most schools, not all, but a whole lot of schools play night games early anyway. So that's already out there. Yes, I think that's exactly what would happen. There will be more night games early.
What do you guys think of that, Cinco and Brian, your thoughts on that? Because all the implications of this, when you start thinking about a 20-team play, this is 24. And I want somebody else to help me here. And those of you that are watching us on YouTube, or if you want to shoot me an email, just think about the implications of a 24-team playoff. Right off the top, you're going to have to move your season up. There's no question. We're going to see. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, we're going to see more matchups in the first round, like maybe Illinois versus Missouri or NC State, Minnesota. That might actually be interesting games. No joke.
Well, why don't you go to, I mean, it's back in the day, I don't remember colleges having 2 bye weekends. I certainly understand the rationale between more rest for the kids and everything, but, just like 3-a-days went by the way, so has, the 1 bye weekend. Now the custom is 2. You could gain a week there if you went to just 1. And have better week-to-week game matchups.
Well, it's this is an extremely, extremely interesting time. Here are some of the ramifications as we're just kind of grappling with them on the air. Now you got to be forced to say, what do I do with my season? Do I move it up? They've already taken very low key here because they're folding sports in order to do this. And Watson, we talked about this last week. These things feel unrelated, but they're not. Change happens incrementally, but a lot of times there's a master plan somewhere. They're already eliminating sport, like, for instance, Arkansas. They're not the last, but they announced that and we talk about the greater good versus greed, okay? They're going to cut their tennis team. I got news for you. The Olympic sports on these college campuses are short-lived. I hate to say that. Especially with these big football schools, because they've got to get around Title IX legislation. They've got to match scholarship for scholarship, and they've got to figure out a way to get their crazy ass cost in line. I'm sorry. There's no other way to say it. But here are the ramifications of 24 teams as we see them. What do you do with the season? What do you do with the bowl games? Are the bowl games now on life support? What do you do with the conference championship games? Do you now see the 2 power leagues move on the ACC and the Big 12 and just gobble them up and make it official? Because at the end of the day, if I'm Greg Sankey or I'm the guy at the Big 10, why do I let them have a seat? They don't need a seat. They don't deserve a seat. I'm bigger and better. I control the gold. I mean, Watson, stop me when I'm wrong. That's how these people think.
No, I think you're right, but I don't think that's immediate. You're talking things I think that's going to be down the road.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to end up with 2 when it's all said and done, and it's going to be a combination of the Big Ten and the SEC, and they'll keep adding teams. But that's down the road. That's not going to happen. The thing that will help this over the FCS playoffs, guys, in an immediate way is you can have better games because the FCS takes conference champions from all these little conferences and put them in. You win the championship, you get in. And I don't think this one will be set up that way. So you're going to have better first-round games than the FCS has. But if they don't do that, now, if they go and start letting the group of 5 champions in automatically or something, now you're going to start having the same kind of games the FCS has in the first round. I don't think they would do that. I don't think they would, because they're looking at money. They want the best games they can get for television purposes. But I agree with you, Tony, but I think things you're talking about there are going to be down the road. There will be a few sports drop, but as this keeps growing and growing and growing down the road, you're going to see more and more drop. They can't drop past Title IX, though.
That's the point.
That's the key to this whole thing. You cannot do that. You'll get sued, and you'll lose money big time. So they're going to have to put it. The number you got to have to fix Title IX is where it would stop, in my opinion.
Well, here's the hidden number, Watson. And this happened over the summer, or happened recently. We just kind of batted an eye at it. But they took the 85, and now you can sign to 105 on these rosters.
Yes, more money.
Yeah, and so now that you can sign to 105, and I can accrue as many football players as I can because I'm going to need them. If I'm going to play in a 9-game SEC schedule, and I'm going to, Brian, if you're in a 24-team playoff and you're one of those teams that's in the 24 team, that's the first round game, second round game, third round game. You got to win 4 games, right, Brian, to get there? Count that up for me, Brian.
If you're in 17 to 24 range, I think you got to win. Don't you have to win 5?
That's a lot of attrition. I mean, if you have your eyes on the prize at the end of the thing, now if you want to have a runaround car and, qualify and get in and get beat or whatever, that's still a lot of attrition. And a lot of these coaches, Watson, are going to sign to 105. I don't know what you do with 105 per se, but that is what these folks are doing.
Well, you can sign to 105, but you've cut off the number that may be on your team because you've taken a piece of college football that's been special forever, and that's taking walk-ons out of the program.
That's gone. That's
You're
right.
taking them out of the program. What we're doing now, guys,
Yep.
I don't mean to be negative because there's a lot of positives to a lot of this, but the 2 big negatives, we're taking high school kids away from signing scholarships. We're taking them away. It keeps growing and growing and growing, the transfer portal, and they're taking less and less high school kids. Number 1. And number 2, the walk-ons are going to disappear. And that is a dadgum shame. That is a dadgum shame in my personal opinion. Walk-on kids have been a major, major piece, a major feel-good piece of college athletics, college football especially, more than basketball, football. College football forever, for back when I played. And we're just taking things away that scare me. I just think that, and it really scares me with this high school. I'm not going to name them. There's schools that signed 40-something transfer portal people and 5 high school kids this year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
And guys, if that's what we want, that's what we're getting to here. That's what we're getting to.
The great Watson
I stand
Brown.
corrected.
Go ahead, Brian.
Only the top 8 seeds only have to win 4 games. Everyone else has to win 5.
The great Watson. Yeah, it's crazy. The attrition.
But you ain't going to get there. Go look at the FCS. It never happens. They're going to lose before they get there.
The great Watson Brown joining, who has brought up some really interesting points today on this piece of reportage that's broken today from the folks at Yahoo Sports regarding that the football coaches are now getting ready to publicly come out with Danny White last week, who at the Caravan said, I'm for 24 teams. I don't blame Danny White. But here's the thing about it. You're an AD, you're a football coach. Be careful what you wish for. Because if you qualify 3 consecutive times and your team doesn't advance, they're going to start calling you regular season Rick, like they were saying about Rick Barnes before he started making these Elite Eights. And then they're going to fire you. And then the ADs won't get fired and the head coach, because fans will get bored. Because now you're going to turn your sport, which has been a regular season sport for forever and ever. It's the most beautiful thing about college football before. If you made me king, I would put all the toothpaste back in the tube. I'd put all the West Coast teams back on the West Coast. I'd make Penn State an independent again. I'd just go back and redraw the board from 1990. I'd take South Carolina and do whatever. They can go back and be independent again. I'd take the old Southwest Conference and put it back together. But here's the thing. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we've got these, they're going to gobble each other up and trying to figure out where this thing goes from here. And Watson's got he's been around this. He's got a pretty good feel for this. Watson, another thing, does the SEC, if they go to 24 teams, do they now stay at 9 games or do they go back to their old 8 and give the coaches and AD some flexibility?
I think that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to mirror each other, whatever that is. They may both go back to 8, whatever. But I would be willing to bet my bottom dollar in time. I'm not saying just this next year, but in time, they're going to mirror each other because they're going to be the 2 divisions that are left. They're going to be. They're going to have all the teams, and it's going to be NFL when it's all said and done. Not tomorrow, maybe not in my lifetime, but that's where it's headed. And the other thing you just said that I'd comment on about the coaches getting fired more, they're going to get fired more now anyway, because it has now been created that it's a year-to-year sport. It's not you got 4 or 5 years to build you a program. It's year-to-year now. So that's going to already happen before they go to this 2014 playoff, because everybody looks at you now as, what'd you do this year? What are you going to do next? If you go 2 years in a row and you don't do anything in that kind of deal, you're going to be gone. They're not going to keep you when it's that way. That much money being spent, on you as a coach and your staff, and you don't do anything over a 2-year period with this the way it is year to year now, they ain't looking at you building something. What are you doing for me now? They'll be gone anyway, Tony.
The thing that really, to me, is of interest is going to be, and you're right, by the way, Watson, how our fan base navigates this season if it's choppy on Josh Heupel. Sean Sinclair, he's got 2 young quarterbacks he's trying to grow against one of the more difficult and daunting looking, and who knows what these teams have. God knows, like we were saying the other day, you have no idea. There are teams on our schedule that we think are going to be great because they look great on paper and they're going to stink. And there are teams on paper that look like they're going to stink and they're going to be pretty good. And maybe Tennessee's one of those teams, but if things go according to form, the Vols are going to win, I don't know, 6, 7, or 8 games this fall, something like that. So, Sean, what does our fan base do? How do our fans respond to that? Do they show patience toward Josh Heupel this year, Sean, or do they jump all over him? What happens? Is Cinco there? Brian Hartman, how do you answer that? If Cinco's not there, how do you answer that, Brian?
Well, it depends on how the team looks. If they look like they've got a promising future at quarterback, and if the offense sort of comes to the point where they're exciting and they can score some points, they could probably absorb an 8-4 type season, maybe even 7-5, and you can still sell some hope for the future with Heupel and his offense and the young quarterback development.
Watson Brown, why do I feel like our fans are going to freak out and jump all over this guy? Why do I feel that way?
I don't know. You feel it stronger than me.
Okay.
Now, I mean, you go have a bad year. 7-5 would be hard for him to hang around, I think. And that's not him. That's everywhere.
It's the deal. Yes.
That's the deal now.
It's the deal. You guys making $10 million a year.
And you get another year. You got a year. You better do it that next year. Period.
Yes.
And that's just what I'm saying. I'm not.
It's just here, there, and everywhere.
Talking about Tennessee.
You're talking about here,
Auburn.
there, and everywhere.
I'm talking about Alabama. Yep. I'm talking about Georgia. I'm talking about Mississippi.
Yep.
They're not going to put up with it anymore.
Yep.
The days of, okay, you got a shot to build your program here. We're going to give you a little leeway. They're gone. And it'll never go back, in my opinion, because of the two pieces, the NIL and the money being spent by the university on the kids and the NIL money and the transfer portal. Those two things stay the way they are. This thing will never change. It's gonna be year to year, and you're judged year to year. It's not looked at how's your recruiting going. It's just not, and that's why I don't think you're going to see the high school recruiting improving any over what it is now. I think it may get worse because you want quick fixes.
They're diminishing those kids. Look,
they're diminishing them, man. Big time diminish them. They're going to end up playing at a junior college, or they're going to end up playing at a lower level.
Yeah.
And the group of fives are going to get a better player because I think they're going to give them more patience.
Yeah.
The group of 5 coaches are going to get a little bit more time than the power 4s are.
They're going to go to a five-year to play system, which means you're going to have older players, guys hanging on longer for that extra payday that aren't NFL or NBA players. That's true.
And they're transferring everywhere.
Transferring everywhere. They hold all the cards. And to Watson's point, and he makes a really good one, who's gonna put the toothpaste back in the tube now? I mean, and the coaches now are going to be so recyclable. So what's the term I'm looking for? You just take something and throw it away, Watson. They're just discardable. That's like
they're going to be discardable, and then they're going to be hired somewhere else.
Yeah, they're going to be in the landfill
because
somewhere.
Your record's not going to be awful.
Yeah,
and but they're letting you go because you ain't done what they want you to do, and you'll get another one, and probably the next year, that next season, you'll get another one. It's just going to be so different than what we're used to, Tony.
I
don't know if that's good, if it's bad. Right now, the fans love what they're seeing.
They love it.
The ratings are up through ESPN and Fox.
Yes.
And they're coming to games.
Yes.
So right now the fans like this. Now, how long will it last? It's going to be interesting to watch and see.
Brent has hit the nail on the head. The term is disposable, because now these kids are having disposable careers. They're getting well compensated for. The coaches are having disposable careers. They don't know this yet.
Well compensated for it.
And they're getting well compensated for it. But they're
How
going to
about Brian Kelly, $54 million?
Yeah, but you only get 4 years, 3 years, 2 years.
It may not even be that.
And they write you a
check.
check.
It'll be that as time goes on.
That's right. Expendable, disposable, things that you really don't want to say about any profession or in the sports world. That's not what sport is supposed to be about. But I liking this analogy of college sports, Watson, and I like the changes. I mean, I think from my perspective, I'm glad I'm not in it, but it's fun to watch, and it's interesting to track because it's nothing but change. I'm honest about it. But here's the thing. I liken college sports to this, Watson. We don't know this yet, but the train, that old saying about the train's left the tracks, that train's been off the tracks now for several years, but it's still gaining altitude. But eventually, it's, to your point, it's not. It's going to exhaust people if they don't put some guardrails on it. It has to exhaust these billionaires. The guys with Live got bored, okay? The guys that were buying all the golfers, they got bored buying everybody gets bored with everything eventually. So it's a fad right now. We're going to buy the players, but the train is eventually going to lose altitude. And when it hits the ground, now that the car is off the track, Watson, when it hits the ground, it's going to be charred beyond recognition when it hits the ground, this thing.
Let's hope it don't go that far. I hope it doesn't. I think that at some point there will be a fall off, but hopefully they'll figure it out quickly and change some things and not let it get to that point. Here's another piece to put in your brain that I think is going to happen. These coaches' contracts are going to get less and less, not money-wise, but years. They're not going to give these guys 10 years. They're going to sign them for 2 or 3 or 4. And if everybody starts doing that, then that's what it'll be, to where they don't owe these guys so much money if they don't make it after 2 years or 3 years. You watch. That'll be the next thing that's going to go down. We'll pay them more money, but we're going to give them less years in their contract.
I would never, if I was an AD or a president, guarantee these guys the failure money that they're paying them.
No, but to get the guy you want,
yeah, pay him failure money.
Whatever, you nearly have to.
Failure
money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that sooner or later, they're going to all get together and say, hey, guys, we got to back off of this. Let's give these guys less years, and everybody kind of do it together. I'm telling you, presidents and ADs are going to figure that out sooner or later.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, could the failure money maybe, if you didn't give that to them, could that prevent some sports from being cut? If you could.
No, Brian. The agents. Here's a little
paying ex-football coaches.
The agents and the coaches don't care about that. They don't. They're going to get theirs. That's the other thing about this. They can bitch all they want about the players. They're the ones, like Watson said, that started this. The players jumping around. Hey, when you got coaches that are, like, hey, you're playing for a national championship, but I got to get on to my next stop. Or, hey, I'm at Tulane one year and we go 13-0 and are playing in some big bowl game. But, hey, I got to get over to Clemson. Or I'm Brian Kelly and Cincinnati just won all our games but one. And we're in the Sugar Bowl. I got to get to my next stop, guys. Sorry. See ya.
And I did it myself. I was at 6 schools
as
a head coach. That's why you don't see these coaches fussing about this stuff, because they know they're the ones that were doing it long before the players were doing it.
Watson Brown on the way out, and I want the truth now. you were late to the party today because you were grilling a Simpsons steak. And what do you put on your steak, Watson? How do we season a steak in the Brown residence?
The Brown residents don't put much. Brenda put a little seasoning, but it's salt, baby. Isn't that awful?
No, it's not awful.
When you get a good enough steak, you put nothing. If it's a great steak, I don't put even any form of sauce on it with it. I eat it straight.
Because Watson told me when he had the first Simpson, and I said, Watson, would you be a spokesperson for a beef brand built on quality since 1888 on Jim Simpson's farm? In addition to steaks and burgers, they got sausages, roast chicken. They've got it all for you. And look, if you want to buy in bulk, you can get a half or a quarter cow. And these gift boxes make great. These steaks make great gift boxes all year long. They ship premium meats anywhere. Simpsonsmeats.com. I've sent some to some family members in Pennsylvania, some people I want to say thank you to, some clients, etc. Watch your mailbox. Some of you watch your mailbox. But Watson, to your point, you told me, Tony, I could taste it right away.
Oh, you got to go. Just try it, and you will go back. You can't go eat one steak from Simpsons. You're going to go back. So just try it. And let us know if that's not the case.
Watson, you could be my main man. I love you. I appreciate you. Great talking to you today.
Sorry I was late. Sorry the phone didn't work. So appreciate you guys.
Whatever, Watson. Hey, Watson, I heard you chewing early in our segment. I could tell you.
No, you did not. You might not, but you did not hear me during lunch.
Let's go. Take care, Watson. Thank you.
See you guys.
We get a brief timeout. We come back. I want to hear from you. So the coaches are making their voice heard. They want 24 teams. What are some other ramifications? Let's talk about this. We come back on the other side, visit with you, get some more in after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. Be back with you, 865-200-5402. I was late on my time out there. We're like off the radio, so I got off my format, and really, at the end of the day, I'm doing this for nothing. You know what I mean? This hour. So if it's an hour, I don't think it's going to be an hour. 865-200-5402 if you want to get mixing in the hunt and in the mix with us. We're responding in real time to the CFA, according to Yahoo Sports, they're in favor of reworking major college football as we know it, to the tune of a 2014 playoff, to the tune of moving the Army-Navy game. But the ramifications of a 2014 playoff, there are things happening that are related, that don't seem related, but they are. But one thing that Watson Brown said in the middle of that, and I'm going to put this, because I'm going to do this for the blog tomorrow. Yeah, I've got it already. Okay. Sean, let's park on this for a second, then we'll go to the phones. And if you want to jump in, give me your thoughts, or the Juke Harris interview that we had. Now that we have 5-year players, and that's coming, it's just not going to be retroactive to this year, but that's coming. That's on the front burner. 5-year players, 105 scholarships. Eventually, they're going to cut minor sports. You have to trim. When you have 105 players, that means 20 scholarships on the men's side will have to go from your campus. Or you just had 20 more scholarships on the women's side, but you're already in a spot in these universities where you're playing a game where you're bleeding. We just talked about and had a guy on from Wake Forest, and I was talking to him off the air about this. I didn't want to pin him down and get ugly about it on the air, but the reality of Wake Forest right now is they're a feeder system. They're a feeder system. In all these sports, they're a feeder team. Their payroll, and nobody over there is mad at Juke Harris. Would you be mad at a friend that came into work tomorrow like you've employed this kid? And he did such a great job, and everybody noticed that somebody wants to pay him 4.5 times more than he made for you last year? Would you be mad at him? Well, of course you wouldn't. You'd say to the kid, come over here, man. Let me give you a hug. Cool. Let's do it. Let's do our thing. And away we go. The 5-year player, Sean, and I'm going to ask you this, because I'm going to ask the recruit next this. Somebody asked me before on the chat, how has all this affected your business? I'm going to be really honest with you. Our business has exploded. Our listenership has exploded. Doing better now than we ever have. Doing better numbers now than we ever have. Revenue-wise, I mean, I don't go out and chase, but we're doing okay there. Like, I'm not going to get rich doing this. But just in terms of listenership engagement, folks to the blog, what we're doing, we work hard at it, you know. But it hadn't hurt us at all. It's helped us. I wonder about these recruiting sites. I wonder about the VolQuests of the world and people like that long term, because I'm sensing here, and I could be wrong, it feels like what's getting ready to happen is Watson Brown's going to be right. High school football players are going to end up, when you go to that 5-year deal, way down at the bottom of the pecking order. It's already happening in basketball. Let me explain. Tennessee's getting ready to, hopefully, they think, and it'll put them in a 7 for 7. however many new players they have. But it's going to put them in a spot where they literally have a roster that probably is going to cost $17 or $18 million when it's all said and done. And about $3 million of that, with $1 million spent on one player, about $3 million of that is high school basketball. In other words, if they have an $18 million roster and they're spending $3 million of it on high school kids, that would mean what? Somebody tell me, what's the percentage of that? 1/6, Sean. You're a math guy. You're a science guy. Where you at, Bri?
About 16, 17%, right?
Yeah.
I'm horrible at math.
Okay, guys. Hey, guys. Sean, how long till that becomes a reality under the 5th-year deal with high school football players?
I tend to think that these things kind of work out. Yes. Will the high school players at the top schools have less opportunity? Sure. The elites will always have that opportunity. For lack of a better term, let's call the 4 and 5 stars will always have that opportunity at the big schools. But, that opens up things as for at the lesser schools. The non-power conferences, kids can go there. They'll get earlier playing time, and then they have a chance to transfer up. It's just instead of the NFL model, you have the Major League Baseball model. Move up, trade yourself, opportunities go. I prefer that than the signing the 35 guys, Butch Jones, number top 5 class in the country because he signed 80 players. That's an exaggeration. And then knowing full well that 75% of them weren't going to be around in 2 years. So I tend to think, I don't think things are taken away. I think they're just shifted.
That's exactly right. And what Sean's saying is kind of interesting, right? So if you stop and think about it, college football, major college football, and college football is a minor league system for the NFL. When they go to this 105 scholarship deal, and you're dealing with mostly, because you're going to grab some kids now with that 105 deal. I think the reason they wanted to do this, they're going to grab developmental players now and put them in that 105 and try and grow your own. So you'll have that, but then you'll be using Conference USA, MAC, Kennesaw State, etc. And you can even have relationships with those schools. Sean, who were some of take us inside this when we were kids and you were inside the guts of Tennessee's deal. Who did Tennessee use to park junior? What were some of the junior colleges we used to use to park players? Because I think you're going to start seeing that.
Well, for us, NEO was a huge one. Mm-hmm. Northeast Oklahoma brought us, I think Leonard Little went out there, or maybe he went to Leavenworth, I'm not sure, but Chuck Smith came from there. We placed guys like that. You had either prep schools or prep schools like TMI, Tennessee Military Academy, Georgia Military Academy, where I think Dale Jones and the Biggest Loser winner, the guy, it's a show, I'm not calling him a loser. Anton Davis started their careers. So
all
those kind of things. But like Leavenworth in Kansas was a great one. Northeast Mississippi, Northwest Mississippi, those were all great.
I think Leonard got pulled off the practice field after a couple weeks. And then he ended up at Coffeyville. Does that sound right?
Coffeyville was another. Yeah, that's what I meant. Excuse me. Yeah. It was Coffeyville.
Okay.
So NEO and Coffeyville were big for us.
Yeah, I was on the air at the time. That was when I was doing my 11 o'clock show at night. And Leonard Little was pulled off a practice field and ended up at Coffeyville. And then he came back. And my gosh, was he a hell of a player. But see, I guess the point is this. Junior college football, from that perspective, doesn't exist like it once did. They used to park guys there. That was now you're going to see these major conference teams develop their own relationships with MAC teams. And we'll know this, and we'll be able to watch these kids play on Tuesday night. Hey, that's a Tennessee kid over there. I'm not kidding you. If we live long enough, we could foresee something like that happening. Am I wrong, Sean?
Oh, I could no. In fact, I think very much like European soccer has on some of these multi-club teams. I could see where Tennessee actually pays NIL money for a player that goes to a different school. Why not?
Yep. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And have him loan him for a few games?
Yes.
No,
and
for
then
a
send
year.
him back down.
Not a few games, but for a year.
Call him back up, maybe.
Yeah, well, you can't play for two different teams like that in a calendar year. You'd have to be there for a season, then come up. You still have to get. I mean, there has to be some kind of facade of you going to class and a continuity.
Brian, I loved that kid we had on in the first hour. What a delightful young guy he is. But when he said something about class or this kid, you'll never have to worry about him not going to class. And I was like, dude.
Maybe he'll have a tutor too, Dixie.
Yeah, I was like, dude, we're in the Southeastern Conference. This is not Wake Forest. We don't give.
As Cardale Jones said, I play football. I don't play school.
He said that like after the fact, right? That was his comment on his time at Ohio State.
No, it wasn't after the fact. That was, I think that was heading up to the national championship game.
But, and that goes back to Bry, I think a couple weeks ago, asking if we had an edge on him because we have better tutors. But we'll go to our phones. I just think the ramifications of this, when you stop and think about it, and I would love your help on what we're missing because they're really far-reaching. And it's like a lot of things. Conventional wisdom doesn't work. Because my first blush is you go to a 2014 playoff, Tennessee's going to get in the playoff more. Not if you expand your league to 30 teams, it's not. If they expand the league, let me tell you something. They're going to add some bangers to the league. Because the job of the commissioner, of both these commissioners now, and I'm talking about the Big Ten and the SEC, is to get eyeballs and engagement, which will equal revenue. And I don't know if you've noticed, and I haven't said a word about it today, but we've got a hotel going up on our campus that's going to eclipse our stadium. And why? Donde Plowman came out publicly in favor of it because Danny was taking heat from our fan base. I'm for this. Now, John Compton had an interesting comment. He said you have some people that are gung-ho for this thing. You have some people that are kind of for it. You have some people that hate it. I think that's an honest thing to say from him. Chris Burke's Schmedium Shirts, Brian, has entered the chat here. Berkey, you've made it. You're now a poster on YouTube. You joined Basilio's Beak and others, along with Joshy Boy's Parlay. Kiffin's Wrecked Lexus is in the chat today. But Berkey Boy's Schmedium shirt says the following. I'm going to screenshot that and send it to Monaco. I'm looking forward to this weekend series. He says, I've run the numbers and I feel a sweep. Berkey! Berkey! Berkey, baby! I've run the numbers, Brian. I feel a sweep. Cinco, do you feel a Vol sweep coming?
Against Texas?
Yes. Berkey boy just ran the numbers.
No. No, I don't. I'd love to get 2 or 3 though.
Berkey Boy
I can see that.
Schmedium shirts, Brian, all capital letters. We can still host. I could just hear Berkey saying that. Berkey was Brian's laughing. Even Brian's selling for a chatter.
I thought they could too if they swept Kentucky, which I thought they might do.
I thought y'all were nuts. Okay. Brian, this baseball team
9-2 and 12-2 ruled.
Thank you, Sean.
Against that dreck.
This
team that lost a series to Missouri and nearly got swept by South Carolina.
No offense to that group of losing baseball players. That's what they are. But they couldn't win an inter-squad scrimmage right now. They would figure out a way. That thing would end. The one team would have a 6-run lead going to the bottom of the 9th. They would give up 6 runs and the game be called for darkness. I mean, these guys blow. No offense. I didn't do it. And no offense to Berkey, but you got Berkey Schmedium shirts in here, and I love you, Berkey. God, I love you. Don't ever change. Hello and welcome into our first call of the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Basilio, Bobby.
Yo,
you
what's
and
up?
Sean on there.
What's up, brother?
And Briney. It was good running into Briney last night. I saw him last night.
Happy birthday, Bobby.
Happy birthday, man. We'll have to get Titansville to sing happy birthday to you. What's your favorite kind of cake?
Happy birthday.
My favorite cake, German chocolate. I'm a German chocolate cake guy.
Oh, I love German chocolate.
That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would rather, RIP, but I'd rather have Raj sing me happy birthday cake if I'm being honest. Sean, since you're on here, I wanted to get your take on the baseball team. I guess I just got it leading in, but are you surprised that Levi Clark's come on like he has in the last couple of weeks? He was dreadful until the Mississippi State series, and he's really come on. Could he be the guy that finally cracks the code for us offensively and actually can get us a win or two and get us in the tournament?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised. Roberto, he was gangbusters when he first started. He went into the desert pretty much the end of last year and all through this year. But he's got talent. He's always had the talent. And they referenced over the past couple of weeks, him doing some different things. And so, no, it doesn't surprise me. I'm very glad. The one that's really surprised me is, well, a couple of them have surprised me. And I know he's been okay. There was so much talk about Grimmer being the guy.
He's been terrible in SEC play, though.
He's okay.
He's been not good.
Okay. And he's had some blips here, but watching Blaine Brown just be so hapless out there and look so uncomfortable against breaking balls, that's the one that really surprised me. And I know a lot of people have kind of been on Henry Ford and but he's represented. He's been pretty good. I know his SEC numbers aren't incredible, but relative to the team, he's been pretty consistent. Garrett Wright's been a pleasant surprise to me. But I think Garrett Wright might be the best player. Manny Marion's doing okay, but I think as a whole, that sophomore class has just been underwhelming. And I think they put a lot of faith in that class that they would just explode this year. And God bless them, it just has not happened.
And I guess you put Abernathy in that class too, right? I mean, is that correct? Or is
there's him, Newstrom.
Newstrom, is he still on the team after he got caught vaping in the hallway?
Is that what happened? I think he got
he was vaping when they called him up.
I think he got a pitch hit last midweek game, but it's you know what I mean. When you're hitting $175 and you were supposed to be the guy, whatever.
Dude, I just saw this today. If you include guys who've played enough SEC games and had enough at bats, how many guys are hitting over 300 on our team that meet that criteria, Sean, in SEC play?
I would say just perhaps Grenlinger being the only one.
Right. He doesn't make the criteria. He's the only guy.
Okay. Well,
everybody else is hitting
to
under
me, that's
300.
a big fat zero.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how bad we are hitting the ball. But I didn't think losing Frank would do what it did to our bullpen. Our bullpen is abysmal at best. And at this point, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Biota? At this point, you got to trot him out there on a weekend. Sorry?
No, I think you had the first one. Biota. That's what I've heard, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you've got to trot him out on a weekend at this point, right? I mean, he's the only righty that can throw the damn ball over the plate out of the bullpen. Rudy's been dreck
By the way,
last couple of weeks.
You guys were talking.
Oh, and then the other guy. Well, look. Let's take a look here. If we're calling out guys, you know, this Hindi guy. No, I'm not ripping him. I mean, Hindi was supposed to be
Hindi
a guy.
is a total disappointment.
He can't even get in a midweek game now.
Hindi can't find Nirvana right now. Continue.
No, Krenzel was. I really thought Krenzel was going to. I don't know what's going on. I hope things turn around because I think he's got some big time talent. Who else? Rudy was. All I heard about was this alien fastball, and I know
it's an alien. All right.
I know he's supposed. Every time they fluff him
like a moon rock
on the broadcast about he's supposed to be this and he's supposed to be this. All I see are balls flying over the fence.
He blows.
That's all I see from that guy. And then so you know, and Arvidsson, I would say Appenzeller. When you take his whole body of work, all those guys, they've just been very average. So if you're who do you if you're walking to the mound and you're Josh Elander, who do you put in there? I mean, I hear what you're saying about the freshman, but I don't know I thought the Abraham kid had a nice outing earlier in the year, and then he's gotten smacked around a little bit.
He got smacked around by the worst team we played all year.
I don't know who you put out. And then I'll tell you another guy is, I mean, relative to the sport, the Landon Mack was supposed to be a horse. And I think he's been bang average, to be quite honest.
I can't really argue. Tony, you were going to say something. What were you going to jump in there on?
You guys think this Reynolds guy? Do you think this Reynolds guy, Sean's done a nice job?
Oh God!
What's your read on this Reynolds guy?
I'm not close enough. You know, I referenced last week that we had one of the top, based on ERA stats, that we had one of the top, you know, pitching staffs to the thing, but the facts and the eye test aren't congruent to me. I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of hopium when Coons goes out there. There's a lot of hopium when Matt goes out there. I like the Blanco kid, but he is what he is. And here's another thing. I said what I said earlier about tarnish the brand. I'm not talking about the Doyle kid or Dolander. On these pitcher guys, I'm talking about Redmond Walsh, Chad Dallas. I'm talking about Cam Sewell. I'm talking about the Seacrest kid. I'm talking about the mustache, Raleigh Fingers. Those guys aren't anywhere. Yeah. They're not anywhere in AAA or major leagues. But I'll tell you what, those guys went out there and they fought and they competed every pitch. I do not see that on this pitching staff, and I challenge anyone to prove that, prove the opposite.
This team kind of I mean, no offense, and I'm not trying to listen, I'm not trying to be funny, and no offense to these guys, but these guys, I mean, these guys kind of blow. I mean, I know you guys are, by the way, I gotta say,
here's another one. I can't watch Blaine Brown in left field anymore. I just can't. I can't do it.
Oh my God, he's horrendous. Thank you, Sean.
Chris Burke's
he
medium
is so
shirts.
bad in the damn field.
Super chats. I think he's gonna get hit with a baseball before it's over. Chris Burke's medium shirt says the following: "We miss Anderson more than we miss Vitello." He said, "I ran the numbers." Yes. He also said, this Burke Schmedium Shirts guy, he said, we're going 3-0 versus Texas, 2-1 versus Oklahoma. We're going to be 16-14. We will host, Brian. And he said, I bet one of my small shirts on it.
I look, no one wants him to be more right than I do. So I get no joy. Well, here's another one. Yeah. You can't even give tickets away these days.
Oh my gosh. No,
that's how weird it is. I mean, it used to be people would call me up and call up my friend. Hey, do you got any extra tickets? What do you want for them? And I've never sold them. I just give them away. But they say, you know, what do you can't even offer them up to people to go to SEC games.
Mm-hmm. I'll be surprised. So, Sean, were you there last night? I'm sorry, I missed that. Were you at the game last night?
No, sir. No, sir. It doesn't work out with my work schedule. No, sir.
At the end of the game, they have Braden Krenzel, he's an IL kid, right, or whatever, and they have him come up on the jumbotron. It's like, we need you here for Texas this weekend. It's like, no, dude, we need you to show up for Texas this weekend. Have a good one, boys.
Well, and we don't need you on the mound. That's what it should say.
No, I mean, Roberto, look, I'm tired of hearing about the crowd is not doing anything. It may be a library out there, but it's basically because the players are librarians telling you they just don't produce. And then let's just say what it is. The stupidest idea ever was putting those students back in that stand-up area down the right field line. Absolutely the stupidest thing that's ever been done over there.
Them eat cake. That's what that is. That's Maria Antoinette is your athletic director, letting them all eat a little bit of cake. 865-200-5402. I like the kid. Would you say the kid throws the moon ball? What is it, Cinco? He throws the moon rocks. What did he call his?
Rudy's. No, that's all I heard about it. He has this alien fastball.
Yeah,
the only thing I see alien is that every time an opponent gets a hold of it, it goes out to space.
It's as a rather politically incorrect pop song, by the way, from Phil Collins. If that's the
Brady Frederick's another one. Well, that guy hits more batters than he throws strikes.
It's no fun being an illegal alien. We'll go back to our phones. What kind of pitching coach doesn't come out and talk to pitchers? What's that in reference to, Cinco? Describe what they're talking about here. I like that. I like that Berkey's getting wrecked today. Brian, are you going to stick up for Berkey? Because there's a guy in here wrecking him, and I just screenshotted it and sent it to Mike Monaco, who's going to LOL at it. What do you think of me, Bri, screenshotting it and sending it to Monaco? Do you have a thought on that?
I think you better remember just remember, Tone. Remember the greatness that is Chris Burke. His I respect everything he says.
Burke!
And I treat it as gospel, so you're never going to get me to come down against him. I stand with Berkey. I thought they would sweep Kentucky.
Another thing I have ultimate respect for is John Wilkerson. Because I love me some John Wilkerson. And how that guy manages to go through 9 innings watching that nonsense and still put up a compelling description of the game and keep you entertained. That's world-class talent right there.
He had practice of that for 20 years, Sean, though.
Well, there you
Todd
go.
Raleigh and Dave Serrano.
He's a pro, but I mean, I love him. And that's no joke. I mean, I love listening to John Wilkerson.
Is Vince?
He's my honestly, he's my John Ward. I'll say it.
Is Vince Ferrari still doing it?
I don't know who that is.
They rotate.
I know Heflin's on there every once in a while. Redmond's on there every once in a while.
They rotate guys, I think, for each game conference, at least. I think that's what they're doing.
Brian, and we love Berkey, right?
Oh, yeah.
Him literally talking about a sweep.
I was talking about a sweep. I mean, I thought they would sweep them. Brian, the way their bats had been going.
Hey, Brian, that baseball team had I want you to, because you're not good at numbers, okay? They had 0 chance of sweeping that series. You know why? Because as a whole, that team knows how to lose, and they kind of stink, and they don't. And to Sean's point, they really don't compete. But other than that, they're pretty good. Taylor wrote a great piece today. Taylor asks, how can a team this late in the season mentally be doing some of the stuff that this team does? I think it's a fair comment, Sean. Now, I don't think this whole thing about this narrative about Lelander's not going to make it, we don't know that. It's way too early for that. He's definitely been grasping for straws this year, grasping at straws. He definitely did not make the right move with destabilizing the entire pitching staff, everybody out of their days. But Tony did not do his Mark Pope. No, we'll do Mark Pope tomorrow. Sean, have you seen what the guy from Kentucky Sports Radio, who you all can say what you want to say about Matt Jones, but he fulfills the role I fulfill in our fan base. He speaks truth to power, and they're scared of him, just like they're afraid of me. I'll say it out loud. They don't like me, and they're afraid of me. But you know what? I what's the term here? My job is to speak for you. Call it like I say it. And Matt Jones is doing that with that basketball deal. Matt Dixon told us yesterday, Sean, Kentucky's got millions and millions of dollars to spend, okay? The kid in Seattle used and abused him and ended up at Kansas, maybe? The Israeli kid used him and abused him. Mark Pope went all the way to the Holy Land, Las Vegas, Hall & Oates. And did what he did. But so, Sean, I want to encourage, I'm going to send you guys a link later. Mark Pope goes on Twitter yesterday and says, BBN, I want to talk to you. Please put your questions in here and I'll answer them. The questions on that thread. I mean, they say a guy's getting ratioed. This guy gets ratioed, I mean, to the deep blue sea, BBN. How funny, Brian, are some of those comments toward him? The ripping they're doing of him. I mean, they are blasting this poor guy, this poor rich guy.
Well, I like opposing fan bases jumping in there.
And I wanted so badly, and I refrained. I refrained.
Because they jumped on your post game.
Oh, I came so close, but I wanted to be better than them. But I might acquiesce later tonight because I'm going to be with CC Hoops. And we might come up with some, shall I say, creative ways to mess with those morons. They had 15 guys, Sean, visit their campus, and they've gotten one of them. And they're calling him Ken Whiffy Jr. up there now. And Cinco.
Well, what's the backstory? Because I
don't know. They've got all the money.
They have brand.
They've got all the money.
They have
no coach, Sean. They have no coach. That's why. That's the backstory. The guy can't.
I hear you, but didn't they beat us twice this past year?
No.
The guy.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, he's not the worst coach around.
And here's the thing about.
But kids are about money these days. They're not about. What have kids been about coaching?
Well, they're
about money.
Money in hotels. But let's go back to the phone.
There you go.
I think it's incredible that he went all the way to Israel to get a player and he didn't get him. Every player that's visited here, now I don't know what's going to happen with the kid from Africa, but I think they're going to land him too. Every player that's walked on Tennessee's campus is now a member of my and your Large Orange.
If he wanted an Israeli, why didn't he just get the Bird kid from us?
They should have done a twofer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that Bird kid.
Hey,
that Bird kid right now on their team, shit, he's starting at point guard, getting up about 18 shots a night. Shit. Let's go to
at least he cast a shadow in the locker room. I don't think they have anyone else that can.
You know what that Bird kid reminds me of? Our baseball team. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Lang plane train, Cinco.
Yeah, Berg reminds me of our baseball team. He looks all right.
How so?
He just looks all right every once in a while when you watch him. But mostly he's just kind of going to be. Okay, so will that be it for us?
If you're not getting the likes and the thing, you said you're doing this for free. I know that concept very well. So let's blow this joint.
Blow it. Yeah. By the way, those of you that are in our YouTube, if you like and subscribe, today we were hovering around 300 live in there, which is pretty remarkable. And we get about, 1,200 people watching it each day, which is kind of nuts when you're on every day. But we could grow it. You could help us continue to grow this thing, even through the off season. Those of you that found the show, the off season's our best time because we crazy around. Now we're going to do some really good stuff this summer. And I've got ability, and we got a great cast of characters around us, and we're not afraid to talk about things. We only have 87 likes, CB Brent. That's a disgrace. We have 91 likes right now. Come on now. Hit the like button. I don't want to beg for that because it's poor form. Plus, it makes me look weak and you look strong. But truthfully, my life's in your hands. My life is in your hands. I had somebody email me the other day. And, I know what it was. I had somebody that I met the other day when we were playing music, and he said, it's just, it's such an honor to talk to you. I said, listen, the honor is mine. A person in 2026 has not 10 choices, not 100 choices, but thousands of choices of where they can spend their time. And I looked right at this person and I said, that you would take your time and listen to what we do and support it. And the guy said, hey, and I support your sponsors. I said, hey, listen, it's the only way we stay alive. It's pretty simple. It is the only way we stay alive. I was talking with somebody the other day. Said, something happened in my family, and my sister was going to go to one of these out-of-town law firms that's everywhere, but I steered them. Said, you got to go to Marcos Garza Law Firm. Just rest assured, okay? First of all, he's a great dude, and they're in good hands. He was out there last night after like a 13-hour day talking to the letter carriers, the gentleman we had on earlier in the show. That's not for show. That's true. Because he believes in Jim Wright and what he's doing. And there's no cameras around when he's doing that. But this thing that we do here, this is community. And though it can become monologue-y at times, and I'm, insufferable and kind of an idiot, and I can drone on and be whiny, know this, I love and appreciate you. And I consider this a blessing to get to do this every day. I think it's a kick. After all these years, I still get to do this. And it's a privilege and it's an honor. And I hope one day to play music, Sean, from one of Danny's joints over there, one of Danny White's joints. That's kind of what I'm doing. The line so far of the blog this week is somebody saying that if Danny's not careful, they're going to call his hotel over there the Motel 6 and 6, Sean. And I said, well, maybe after this season, if we're lucky, it'll be the Super 8 and 4. Two pretty good lines, Cinco.
Really good lines.
But
I wouldn't hold your breath getting an invite from the plumber, though.
Chris Burke's medium shirt says hit the like button so we can get back to the humor part of the show. I'll donate a shirt to the 200th like. What do you think of somebody zeroing in that, Brian, that Berkey likes to wear schmedium shirts? I think Berkey goes to the same clothier as Danny.
Well, maybe they weren't schmedium when he got it. He fills them out.
Oh, let me tell you something.
With the fact he's lifting weights so much.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Berkey.
They look schmedium because he's gotten bigger in a good way.
Cinco, this is a great bit. This is a great idea. We get to know the people from Danny's Hotel. We go up there and we either hack the hacksaw to get on the roof. Sean, do you remember when we lived on Annie Holt Apartments?
Yep.
Do you remember when we would climb up on the roof and throw things at people? Were you a part of that?
I was not a part of it. I was a part of locking your brother-in-law out on the little ledge outside the window, though.
Okay, so we knew, and it might have been him, would set that lock. There was a padlock that went up to the roof. Somebody said, we need to get the Ramblers. And Cinco, you need to come plug in, and we'll play a rooftop concert till we get arrested on top of Danny White's deal.
You like the Beatles?
Yeah, I like the Beatles. Do you think that would be kind of fun, funny?
Oh, I think it would be very much on the vanguard of today. I think people would love it.
Do you think, Ryan, that Berkey is carb conscious and is counting his carbies?
You guys need to lay off,
Yeah,
Burke. That's a handsome-looking man right there. Come on.
Yeah, I don't. That's
non-homo.
That's life goals.
Excuse me, Brian?
That should be life goals. To look like, to be that buff and be in great shape.
Laura thinks she's funny. Look at this photo she just sent me of me. I'm wearing some Sixers drawers that I think I sent to my nephew. Look how far they come down on me. And I've got my hat on and like an old Penn shirt. Doing a little show and tell here. She's trying to crack on me, y'all. She's saying, you're picking on Chris Burke. Brian, you got to go back later and look at these Sixer shorts that I'm wearing. They're like 9 sizes too big.
You had a dollar bill hanging out of your hat that you didn't know about.
I mean,
the best clothing crack ever was when you were ripping Bino about his Speedo, and you asked him if you could borrow it sometime, and he said, yeah, but you'll have to take it in quite a bit. That was next level.
I love Bino, but here's the truth, Bino. I know your voice is kind of deep, big boy, but I'd have to let yours out, there, simpleton. But anyway, a lot of fun today. Anything else, Dr. Sean Sinclair, DDS, beautiful Maryville, that you'd care to add today? Because you've been incredible in the form of clapping.
I don't know about
your hands.
that, but like you said, Tony, about being on here, it's only because of your generosity and your questionable decision making if I had a small part in this thing, and I thank you so much, and hope to continue to do it for many, many years in the future.
By the way, Cinco, Pruitt's Neck Gator, I meant to say this today. They put a tweet out earlier today. Tennessee football reporting that their team has gained 867.3 pounds of muscle. That reminds me of the episode of The Office where they're all weighing themselves down there on the weight on the big, huge industrial size scale. But they've gained 867.3 pounds of muscle mass, and they've lost 218 pounds of fat, Cinco, this offseason.
All I know is that cat was part of a system that took Indiana University to the national championship and spanked everybody they played.
They beat
whatever great. If they want to get all those guys in chains again, like the old timers used to, and flex, oil up, whatever. if that cat Owings, if that's his name,
Owings,
if he's behind it, I'm for it.
I last week was sitting with a Bammer down there at the when I went down with Jimmy Woods to that Musicians Hall of Fame a week ago, and we were in a really sweet little restaurant over by where the soccer stadium is, some French place. And one of the guys there was a Bammer. And I had to look at him and say, hey, man, what'd you think of that Rose Bowl? You talk about the blood running out of somebody's face. When you get around those people now, all you got to say to them is, you just look at them and go, hey, man, all those years you guys have played football, Indiana took you and the granddaddy of them all, and they drug you like a bad habit. I mean, you ought a drug problem. Yeah, we could get up there, Ellerby's clap. We could get up there and play Hotel California. We could change the words to it. Yep.
Apparently, G-Mac's proud of the 1 pound he contributed to that 800 and some.
I'm buying G-Mac this fall. As much G-Mac as I can get. I'm a buy low, sell high guy. I'm buying him right now after his spring, and I will be hopefully selling highly when the time comes. Valdad said, imagine G-Mac comes out first game. He looks like Big Papa Pump from the NWO days. Do you see where Big Papa Pump's son, Brian, where did he got drafted by somebody late in the draft, right, Bri?
I don't know who Big Papa Pump is.
Scott Steiner.
Hey, I'll tell you this, little Papa Pump was wrestling at the Bigfoot Festival this past weekend.
Who that?
That's his stage name. It's the
you went to
I don't know. I want to make sure that's the little person wrestling, whatever you call it.
You went to the Bigfoot Festival?
You bet your bippy.
I love Bigfoot. Where was that? I'm a footie. I should know. I watched.
What are you talking about? Thanks to my boy Brian Johnston and the Johnston family, they put that on every year, bro.
Where?
The Turtle Man was up there regaling all these stories about how he chased Bigfoot, wrestled gators. I mean, it is equal part carnival, freak show, Bigfoot Expo. I mean, there's nothing better.
Where?
Townsend at the visitor center up there, bro.
Really?
All the food trucks you could possibly want.
Dude, I'm a footie. I love Bigfoot.
It was there. Oddly enough, all the researchers were there, all the paranormal channels on there, and not one clear picture of Bigfoot. I don't know why they're hiding all their evidence, but I did not see one clear picture of that cat. So Turtle Man said that Bigfoot is camera shy. So I'm just going to have to go with him.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple podcasts. Let me find one of them. I'll go to them from time to time to sleep.
Speaking of Bigfoot, shout out to one of our listeners, T Carp. I hear you. I feel you.
Is he a footy guy? One is boring books at bedtime. I listen to
his dad. His dad was R.I.P. the great T Carp's father, Scott Carpenter. He's got a huge has and had a huge following on YouTube, and was if you're into that thing, he was a well-known researcher. S. Carp, I hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
So his dad was a
Bigfoot's
footy?
huge here.
What's that? It's like a paranormal podcast.
They had a paranormal payphone up there, paranormal 411.
Sasquatch
the Sons of Appalachia were there. Turtle Man was there.
There's a thing called the Sasquatch Chronicles that I will listen to from time to time. And they post every couple of days, once a week. But
who was that guy that he was a Survivor Man? He did a whole series on that stuff. That's pretty compelling. Again, no pictures, but he is camera shy.
Brian, do you believe in Bigfoot?
Well, anyway, let me tell you this. Turtle Man lost me. Now, here it is. Turtle Man starts with a story about the scariest encounter he had with Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. So he said, I was on the chase. So he was tracking him. Mm-hmm. He said, I came up on Bigfoot's camp. He said, I saw that. This is total legit what he said. He said, I came up, there was this big nest where he sleeps, and he said, he obviously had a recent fire. And then I was like, you just lost me there. There's no way that Bigfoot's making fire. Come on. So, but anyway.
Brian.
Apparently Bigfoot is camera shy and is adept at making fire.
Brian, do you believe?
I believed in Chewbacca on Star Wars, but I think conspiracy theory I have is that any kind of footage that's out there is doctored and it's not real.
We used to call those shorts shebangers.
What about the Loch Ness Monster sink? Are you a Nessie guy?
Man, all these things, honestly, on all these things, I don't have a definitive opinion. I'm open to the possibility that those things could be real. I don't know. I just think it's great.
I love every minute of it.
I still look. I still believe in Santa Claus. So there you go.
Let me tell you something. If you're sleeping in the woods, okay, Brian, and you hear those footsteps behind you.
Well, I don't sleep in the woods, so.
Brian, hang on. And then up on your tent, you hear this. And then you hear, Brian, come on out, little boy. It's Bigfoot.
Hopefully there's no rape fan around.
Well, boys, it's been fun.
Tom, thanks for having me, man. Bronny, talk to you next week.
Peace. I love Bigfoot. I'm a footy. Chris Birch Medium Shirts will have the final word today, which is, I believe in working out and counting carbs. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the final. For the people that listen back to the podcast, I made that the final thought. I paused. You got to have the guts to just say, this is the final thought. And when you call something the final thought, you make it the final thought. Listen, man, I love that Bigfoot stuff. Bigfoot, who was D.B. Cooper? I knew who B.B. Cooper was. Who was D.B. Cooper? Who shot Kennedy? Any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the